your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Yes. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Taking it to 2 p.m. Allen Stiles, Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass. Great stuff from Carmichael Dave, Jason Ross, Christopher Laud as we break down all things Kings. A ton happened as well in the NFL. We might have to get to it tomorrow as we break down the Kings-Knicks post-game, however that goes, because there's plenty to get to tonight and today as the Kings, they do get the W against the Spurs, which feels, I told y'all how much I hate Friday games because that feels like a very, very long time ago. And Kyle had a good call. I'm texting Chris Watkins right now. And Kyle had a good call that the Kings, they had the game on Friday. They have the game last night. And now they have a game tonight. So much happening in a short period of time. So if you were a fan of moving on from De'Aaron Fox, we are going to do that. We will not be spending really any time on the Spurs and De'Aaron Fox because the Kings took care of business. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. Zach LaVine said, I am the captain now. And they won that basketball game.
And everyone cheered him. Yay!
That's right. So good on everyone. There are a couple spatters of boos, and you did the right thing. When he gets the ball during the game, you can boo. I think we all understand that is just a form of respect, if you will. So we can move forward until the next time De'Aaron's in the building. But nothing will be like that first time and what happened on Friday and the good vibes. Now, the Kings couldn't keep the good vibes going as much as they tried against, again, a team that has legitimate NBA talent and, is in the playoff play-in conversation in the Clippers, right? And they had an opportunity to do it. You're up 7 points with 1:40 left, and you don't win that basketball game. And for those out there that want me to go back to moral victoryville, I didn't want to do it against Denver, but Denver, former champion, Nikola Jokic, one of the best players in the league.
Who in the game after playing the Kings literally had two triple-doubles in a basketball game.
That's right. So you made me do it against the Nuggets. Fine, I did it. But if you're expecting me to go to moral victoryville after last night's game, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give you what you want because I can't do it. And at this point, there's no point in going to moral victoryville because ultimately it doesn't matter, right? If I sit here and say that I'm proud of the Kings and how they played and I'm proud of the Kings and what they've been doing, it doesn't make a difference. They're still ninth. If I say I don't really care that the Kings played a good game and ultimately you got to take care of business, it doesn't really matter. They're still in ninth. So all of the conversations that we're going to have, you're all entitled to your opinion. And 916-339-1140, the phone lines are going to be open all day, as we like to do after big games like that. The standings are the standings. And I spent last night fighting with some of you who also listen to the show about me being a little bit too negative, right? Optimistic Allen had been here. He had, he's still here in some capacity. We just got to find him. But, we can get out our TI-84 calculators out, the bottom line, and we can play Snake, we can play Brick Breaker, whatever you want to play. They're running out of time. The Kings are running out of time. And the Kings aren't just running out of time for this season. The Kings are running out of time as it pertains to this roster. The Kings are not the Rockets. The Kings are not the Spurs. The Kings are not the Blazers. They're not the Magic, okay? They're not in a position where these are character-building wins. This team, they made the decision to win now. When they moved on from De'Aaron Fox, and honestly, when they moved on from Mike Brown, it was, we need to do something now. So I'm sorry if I'm not going to sit here and say, well, Sabonis wasn't playing, well, Malik Monk wasn't playing. Because Norman Powell, the Clippers' leading scorer, all-star snub, was not playing. Aaron Gordon, one of the most influential pieces to that championship Nuggets team, did not play. Everybody is dealing with stuff. And you had an opportunity last night to win that game, then come back and face a Knicks team who has had your number with no Jalen Brunson. Now, I'm not saying that this game is an automatic win tonight, but you have a much better chance beating the Knicks without their star player. Literally, the offense is focused around Jalen Brunson. So now you're stuck in this 500 basketball realm. And I know Doug Christie isn't 500 as a coach, but you're stuck in this 500 basketball realm because you lost last night. Now you have to win tonight just to try to keep pace. And oh, by the way, don't look at who the Clippers have coming up the next 4 games. It's not going to make you feel very good. Let me give you a hint. One of the games is against the Hornets, okay? So that's part of it too. So the Kings lose the game, and it was a tough one, 111 to 110. All right? We can break down that last play as you have Jake LaRavia was a little bit caught in between what to do. Kyle and I, we rewatched the play before the show, and Jake, at first I wanted Jake to crash hard, right, on Kawhi. Then you see Derrick Jones Jr., he had hit a 3. I would live with the Derrick Jones Jr. 3, but Jake has to leave a little bit because Derrick Jones Jr. smartly, slowly but surely cuts to the basket. So Jake has to cover there. You have Doug Christie saying, hey, I was actually yelling to Keon to help off of Harden and crash on Kawhi, but he couldn't hear me. Now, should we say, well, maybe Keon should have known that before the play happened? I don't know. Right? Clearly, from how everything broke down and listening to different players, it didn't seem like that's what the Clippers were initially planning to do, but that's how things evolved based on the defense they saw. I think maybe it turned into a situation where maybe they thought that the Kings were going to get the ball out of Kawhi's hands, and when nobody crashed hard, right? By the way, Ty Lue went home with back pain, so he wasn't even the coach. So they decided, hey, they're not crashing hard. So Kawhi, I know Keegan's a pretty good defender, but you're Kawhi Leonard. You can turn back the clock from time to time, and he did. And, you know, there's a lot of conversations about bandwagon fans, about fair weather fans. This is a completely different show in every capacity if Zach LaVine makes that shot. But again, as I gripe over and over and over about these tough shots that the Kings are just accustomed to making. Let me do you one better too. So Friday, before the Kings played the Spurs, I was in the pregame presser and I asked Doug Christie about the offense. So we spent a lot of time, because this is what happens with media. You know, I'll get people in my mentions, hey, well, why don't you ask Doug this? Why don't you? Well, I did, because I'm not going to sit here and tweet and talk about an offense and not get it from the horse's mouth. So on Friday, I asked Doug Christie, hey, when DeMar DeRozan is rolling a little bit, is it hard to keep other guys involved, or, you know, what is the balance there? Well, Doug Christie said to me, and I'm paraphrasing here, Doug Christie said to me that the team understands when DeMar has what he feels is an advantage, and they're going to play off that. And part of this is a quote where he says, I could run a play, but if we feel like DeMar has an advantage, that's, you know, you put the ball in your best player's hands, that's the best version of the play, or best version of a play. So at the end of this game, when it's DeMar DeRozan, and Kyle, we had this up, I still have it up. So at the 140 mark that everyone keeps talking about, the 140 mark, and the Kings play great defense, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what burns even harder, because the Kings are playing well. But this is not horseshoes. It's not. Minute 48, 97-90. Zach LaVine, another tough 16-foot step back jump shot. At 140, Kawhi Leonard makes a 9-foot driving floating jump shot. Keegan Murray fouls him. Kawhi Leonard makes the shot. Now they're down 4.
That shot was crazy, by the way. The falling away, just
it was nuts.
Shoulder.
It was nuts. Jonas Valanciunas, offensive foul, you know, and even the broadcast said, you got to rub shoulders. They're going to call that every time. So he turns it over. Zubac, who really just kind of scored when he wanted. He's just balling this season, and kudos to him. So James Harden, Zubac was just, how many times did we have to see that pick and roll? I felt like I was honestly watching Malik and Sabonis at times. So here comes the 105, the three taken by DeMar DeRozan. So he misses that. It was a terrible call. I don't know if that will come out in the 2-minute report since it was reviewed, but we will keep an eye on that in case it does. I know a bunch of Kings media will repost it, so we will not have a tough time finding that.
I've got the website up. I'm refreshing.
Yeah, if it comes out and when it comes out. So that gets overturned. We understand. I do not agree with that call, right? I don't understand. Now, this goes back to the Denver situation, how I said I don't really know which fouls are fouls anymore when it comes to DeMar DeRozan. That one felt pretty egregious, okay? And the marginal hand contact, I feel like there's a little bit of Sacramento woe is me where that's something I've never heard before. I'm getting PTSD from being a Raider fan with the index card against the Cowboys. You just don't hear stuff like that. If that's another guy, does that get overturned? I don't think so. Should DeMar have been taking another contested three? I don't know. Well, DeMar decides to run it back. You get to the 24-second mark. So after that, if you want to say ball don't lie, Amir Coffey misses the three-pointer. So all's well that ends well. DeMar gets the rebound, takes an ill-advised three-point jump shot with 24 seconds left. Why he did that, I don't know. It was an awful shot. Awful. Zubac gets the rebound, and we all knew that they were losing in overtime, right? I don't know how. I didn't know how they were going to lose. But the team that loses the momentum and loses the lead on the road going into overtime, I don't need to look up the numbers. I know that team loses in overtime probably over 70% of the time. And that's what happened. You got to overtime, and they fought their butts off. They really did. But again, at this point in the season, none of that matters. So you all are welcome to call in and try to get me back to moral victoryville. But as we break down, and as I've said, and this is coming up at 11 for those that have been following along with me, I don't think a lot of you are understanding the gravity of this season. Everything that you're watching right now could be completely gone next season. So that is why I can't do the they played well thing. They did. But this team could be completely different. If there's one thing we've learned from this ownership group, it is that they are results driven. They don't give a damn about injuries. They don't give a damn about situations. You do or you don't. And there are some names out there, not just player-wise, but coaching-wise, that could alter all of this. We got 4 hours. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
His hands, he turns, he launches, it bounces twice and falls in, and the Clippers win at the buzzer, 111-110, and Kawhi Leonard is being absolutely mobbed by his teammates. Heartbreaking loss for Sacramento.
Allen Stiles. YouTube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
This is a weird type of breakdown where it honestly doesn't even feel like the box score is necessary, right? Because you know what happened. You know what happened. James Harden was 3 of 11, and that's the other thing. You're playing good defense. They're missing Norman Powell. Obviously, you're missing Sabonis. You're missing Malik Monk, and you cannot shoot threes, and you still had a chance to win. That is why anything that anyone is saying to me is, it's not that it's wrong, right? It's not that you are incorrect. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is that this team doesn't have time for it. That's all I'm saying. I'm sitting here, the 209, get the text kicked off here. Leonard misses the last shot, and you were on here talking about how resilient the team has become, praising them and talking 6 seed. The ups and downs of this season has been exhausting. I agree, 209. But why does the ball never seem to bounce for the Kings? That would be my other question. Maybe they're cursed. We had some fun talking curses last season. I don't know. But they're never on the right side of this, right? The 415 says, we got robbed by the refs. Reversing the call on DeMar yesterday was highway robbery. We could even make the same argument for Wednesday. Kind of hard to be down on the boys when they've legitimately been overachieving and getting screwed by injuries and refs. Like I said, the Knicks will not have Jalen Brunson tonight. They had to face a Warrior team last week with no Karl Anthony Towns because he was dealing with some personal stuff. The Clippers are missing Norman Powell, their leading scorer. Denver Nuggets are trying to survive. Now, I get it. 2 at one time is tough. I get it. Denver is missing Aaron Gordon, right? Their best defender by far now that KCP is gone. So everybody is dealing with something. The Warriors haven't had Kuminga in 30 games.
And somehow they're better without him.
Right. That's a different conversation. So it's not, again, the only reason I'm acting in a results-driven way is because that's all that matters. The ownership group didn't know if they wanted to extend Mike Brown after being in the play-in, after being the first unanimous coach of the year, losing who at that time was their number 2 scorer, De'Aaron Fox and then Malik Monk. They lose their number 2 scorer, and they lose one of their biggest acquisitions and the biggest part of the Beam team. We could sit there and say maybe Kevin Huerter would have got hot. Finally, he was due all season. Maybe Kevin Huerter got hot last season if he doesn't get injured. I don't know. They did not care. They did not care and went back and forth, penny pinching with Mike Brown. They did not want to give him an extension, right? So they lose in the play-in, still with no Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter. Still didn't have them. They lose in the play-in. They don't know if they want to extend Mike Brown. Mike Brown goes on a 5-game losing streak. They fire him. And I'm supposed to sit here and talk about moral victories. The ownership has shown us they don't care about moral victories. They don't care about how you've been playing. They don't care if the guys put up a good effort. If the Kings don't make the playoffs, anything can happen. There is only one player, and if you're listening to Crosstalk, you know who this player is. There's only one player on the Kings that I am about 95% certain will be on the team next season out of the core rotation pieces. I'm not counting Keon Ellis. There's one player, and I give you a hint. It's not Domantas Sabonis, and it's not Malik Monk. So I'll tell you who that is a little bit later in the show. 916-339-1140. I always like going to the first caller because I never know if I'm going to get completely cooked by the first caller and they're going to disagree with me and make some great points, or if they're going to agree with me and make some great points. But it's all in Casey's hands now. What's up, Casey? What you got for us? Happy Monday.
Well, I mean, it's not really a happy Monday after last night, but
Yeah.
That was a pretty devastating loss. And like you say, there's no moral victories at this point. But the Kings have been playing incredibly well together. It's encouraging, but we're running out of time. And that overturned call on DeRozan to me was absolutely inexcusable. especially the way the ref announced the call, saying that because the foul didn't take him to the ground, it wasn't a foul. I mean, if that's the case, then they should never call fouls unless somebody gets knocked to the ground. Since when has that been criteria for a foul?
Right.
I mean, he clearly blocked his follow through. He couldn't get a full follow through on it. It was almost identical to the same play that Keon got called on a foul against Jamal Murray at the end of the Nuggets game when Keon hit ball and wrist, and they called the foul. So I mean, honestly, I know it sounds like a cop out, but it really feels like we got robbed 2 games. I think we were the better team in both those 2 losses, and the calls didn't go our way, and it's absolutely devastating at this point in the season.
Thanks for the call, Casey. No, you know what? Casey makes a great point, because I do think, and I don't normally do the league has a problem thing, but a lot of memes came out of that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander game with the Nuggets and the Thunder. They played each other at about 10 a.m. yesterday, so you get to wake up and just watch basketball. I loved it. But there are a lot of memes came out of that because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was just completely in his foul baiting bag. He's just wailing and throwing his arms all over the place, and you get upset with him, but then you hear the refs sit there in the Kings game and say, because he didn't fall to the ground. So I can't get mad at and Jalen Brunson, not going to see him tonight, but that's what he does. I can't get mad at Jalen Brunson or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or any of these guys flopping around like fish out of water, because the refs are literally saying, if DeMar had fallen to the ground, even if he didn't have to, he's on his muscle milk. He's not a small dude. So if DeMar had fell to the ground, it wouldn't have been overturned, even if it was a flop. I mean, we see James Harden did it for years. James Harden would shoot and his feet would move forward so that the defender would be in his landing space, and he'd fall over and he'd get those calls. And a lot of those calls were before challenges, so they would all stand. But DeMar DeRozan doesn't fall on the ground because they are ethical basketball players. They're not foul hunters and foul baiters and foul merchants. And the league says, well, we're actually going to not just uphold the call, we're actually going to reverse it. That is, and I'm not the guy that sits here and just wants to talk bad about the league, but that's a problem. So when people say this is unwatchable at times because it's reminiscent of soccer without the pageantry, with all the flopping, that's what they're talking about. But don't blame the players. Blame the rules. Because if I don't fall, now what's DeMar going to have to do next time? He's going to fall. Because if I don't fall, you just said I'm not going to get the call. You just said that. That's a great call by Casey. Because it's ridiculous to outwardly say because he didn't fall to the ground. So Adam Silver, that's what you want. You want a bunch of fish out of water. You want people just falling all over the place, which honestly can lead to actual injury. How many injuries have we seen from flopping? Kyle has the sound, and we're gonna listen to the sound of what that ref said on the other side, and we're still keeping an eye on the 2-minute report, which I don't even know how that goes since it was reviewed. So Kyle will play that sound on the other side, and we're going to continue to break down what in the world happened last night. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
There's nothing quite as serene and beautiful as our Sacramento rivers. It's something we can all take pride in. But just one piece of litter can ruin the picture. I'm Allen Stiles from Sacktown Sports. Let's work together to keep our community beautiful and make Sacramento litter-free. Clean rivers don't just mean beauty. They mean healthy fish, safe swimming, and a vibrant ecosystem. So remember, be river-friendly. Every little action makes a huge impact. Visit BeRiverFriendly.net now to be a part of the difference.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Meanwhile at Xfinity. Okay, huddle up. Do you realize how many fans stream basketball? It's madness.
But real fans stream with Xfinity Internet.
Totally. We've engineered the fastest connection.
With reduced buffering and low lag.
'Cause making streaming better is what we do!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Can we let go now? It's really not a huddle with two people.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and stream live sports from the best seat in the house. Bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Actual speed vary, not guaranteed.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
With so many newsletters, blogs, podcasts, and such about the game of golf, I appreciate the listen here at Golf to Go. But here's one I look forward to in my inbox. It's called Power Fades and written by a fellow New Englander named Jim McCabe. He covered the game for the Boston Globe for 23 years, going on to cover the PGA Tour for Golf Week magazine, followed by a position with the PGA Tour as Senior Manager of Communications. Since 2021, he has self-published his digital golf newsletter called Power Fades. McCabe says he has a passion for playing golf that is surpassed only by his passion for writing about people who have a passion for playing golf. I open his newsletter with a smile on my face, knowing I'll encounter another's highs and sometimes lows, as McCabe writes with great sentiment about regular people's regular lives and their place in the game. And his front 9 musings add humorous reflections to this tidy package. Visit powerfades.com now and thank me later. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the A to Z savings event at AutoZone.
Yeah, happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with the rotors.
Free. Really?
Really, free.
Okay, I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah, how much is that?
Free with 5 quarts of oil.
Free? Really?
Really, free. It's part of the A to Z savings event.
You might as well call it A to free.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Inbounds pass, going to go to Valanciunas. He's looking for somebody to hand it to. It's Levine. 8 seconds to go. Score tied at 97. 6 seconds to go. Levine creeping forward, drives to the right, hesitates, off the bounce, pull up for the win, around and out. It's no good. We're going to overtime. A great look off the dribble from Zach Levine with a hesitation move, and the shot rimmed out. 5 minutes of extra basketball right around the corner.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
I'm going to sound so old, but hated that shot. Hated that shot so much.
It was a good shot.
Hated the shot. It was very Kobe-esque, and Zach Levine can make those. But he didn't. So make or miss league. Hated that shot. Hated that there was no play. It's just tough shots. Everything just seems so difficult.
Allen, if the ball bounces 1/12 of an inch.
Here we go. Yeah, like it did for Kawhi. It did for Kawhi.
But that's because it's Kawhi. Kawhi just hits triple bounce, quadruple bounce shots all the time.
It's all,
if Keon Ellis helps.
This type of basketball is just not for me. It's just not for me. It's too pickup. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. And what we're learning is that you're not going to get blown out because you have elite shot makers, but you're also not winning games. Oh, Allen, the record. Go look back at who the Kings have beat since acquiring Zach LaVine. And again, I'm not saying that this team with a move here or there, you go get a Tyus Jones, something like that. I'm not saying that next year this team can't be legit. I'm saying based on what we know about this leadership and ownership group, I don't know that they're going to get that chance. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, you give this team more time and next season they could do some things if you tweak here or there. What I'm saying is I have no clue if they're going to get that chance.
Yeah, rash impulse decisions seem to be the thing. Here's kind of the nuance, I would say, without using the moral victory term, which is there is no way you can walk out of that game and say that the Kings and the Clippers, one team is better than the other.
Sure.
Like
the record says something.
The Clippers didn't have an all-star. The Kings didn't have an all-star. Both teams had leads back and forth. They went to overtime, and like I said, if a 12th of an inch on a Zach LaVine shot rolls down, or Keon goes to help on Kawhi, one single play determines the outcome of that game.
If I was right-handed, I'd be playing for the Giants right now.
Sure. The point, though, is these two teams are basically the same, and both are playoff teams, and I would even make the argument the Kings are a better basketball team than the Clippers. The problem is they're both the 8th seed.
Yeah, and they played better than the Nuggets, and they lost. And they played better than the Clippers, and they lost.
And the season is now going to come down to, in all likelihood, the Kings going either back to the Intuit Dome or back to Chase Center, or
even better,
to Minnesota.
Oh, great.
And having to win a game to get a 7-game series against Oklahoma City. Because I'm not going to lie to you, while the Kings are probably just as good, if not better than the Clippers, not going to lie to you people, this game screwed their playoff chances.
And we will get to that. Let's get to the phone lines. 916-339-1140. Dwayne wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Dwayne? What you got for us?
Man, you know what it is. I know the gravity of it, man. I've been on this for like 18 months, man. It's crazy, man.
I know.
Everybody, my wife mad at me. Look, man, check it. At the end of the day, Mike Brown and De'Aaron Fox was on the same page, and management obviously wasn't. So you wound up with a bunch of hoopers who could hoop and ball, but they'll win you some games, but they're not going to win you last night's game. They're not going to win you Denver's game. You feel me? So you're going to wind up around 500. So at the end of the day, I'm wondering, when is Sacramento going to get tired of the disrespect from no all-stars, no sixth man of the year, no calls from the refs? You're going to have to start, getting crazy with it, man.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Dwayne. And I do want to say this real quick. We're about to play the ref sound from the ridiculous explanation from the DeMar DeRozan foul, because it was a foul. It was a foul. But the Kings and the Clippers did not score after that. And then DeMar took one of the worst shots with 24 seconds left I've ever seen. But it was a foul, right? All right, Kyle, what did the ref come up with?
So, yeah, this was the explanation just from, I can't remember which head official it was.
After review, the ball is released on the shot, and the contact by Jones is in the hand area and deemed marginal, as it does not cause DeRozan to fall to the floor. It's part of a normal contest, therefore the challenge is successful. It's been overturned to a no call. In the immediate aftermath, the ball was loose. We'll have a jump ball at center circle with any two. The Clippers will receive their timeout. They have the ability for a second challenge later in the game.
What you typically see with contests is it's straight. It's a defender going straight at the shooter, right? Anytime there is a side swipe or anything that's not straight up to that straight up high five, it's a foul. It's a foul. I've never seen a side swipe contest not be called a foul. And again, to overturn it, to say that there is enough to overturn it is crazy to me. It's crazy. And then for the explanation to include that he didn't fall to the ground means he didn't get hit. It's not even the air. What they're saying is they're kind of contradicting themselves. So it's not, is it the air? Because why even bring up that he didn't fall? Because if it's the area, it shouldn't matter whether he fell or not, because shooters fall all the time. But if it's that high five area, it doesn't get called. So they're saying two things that don't make sense. So it's the air, it's the area is fine, and on top of the area, he didn't fall. Well, it shouldn't matter whether it was the area or not. So the whole thing is ridiculous. Kyle is refreshing the 2-minute report to see if they say anything else about it, if they look at it again. And, this gives me flashbacks about the 2-minute report, and everybody knows that they were listening to this show last season. Thank you for listening. If you're just now listening, if it's your first day, thank you for listening. That Celtics game I thought was ridiculous because the Celtics basically said, here, Kings, go ahead and win. Last season, when former King Colby Jones got hit upside his head. And the 2-minute report, I believe, came out and said Colby Jones got hit upside his head. But it was still a loss in the column. Me personally, I didn't spend any time on it because the Kings deserved to lose that game, because they did lose that game, and it was kind of an embarrassing situation if they did win a game that the Celtics said, we're up by so much in the East, we don't need this game, right?
Just for reference, the Celtics put their backups in the fourth quarter, and when the Kings started coming back, they did not put the starters back in.
So I didn't spend a lot of time on that, but the 2-minute report did come out and say that Colby Jones got hit upside his head and there should have been free throws. So this stuff happens, and even if they come back and say, again, we reviewed it and we still got it wrong, or knowing them, they'll say, no, we didn't find anything wrong with our review. So either way, all it's going to do is tick you off more, and that's the long and the short of it. You look at and don't get me started, look at the minutes here. These are in losses, okay? And I understand that it's overtime. Keegan Murray played 47 minutes. 47 minutes. 15 points. 3 for 6 from 3. Keegan had a great game. A great game. You're battling with Kawhi. You're running around. At some points, you're with James Harden. You're playing James Harden. 47 minutes. All right? DeMar DeRozan, who I looked it up so I can stop saying 35 or 36, he turns 36 in August. So he's 35. He turns 36 in August. He played 44 minutes. Valanciunas played 41. Zach LaVine played 44. Jake LaRavia played 30. Keon played 31. There was only one player on the Clippers that got to 44 minutes. That player was Ivica Zubac. Kawhi Leonard played 40. I don't know when the last time Kawhi played 40 minutes. I know they were in an overtime game last week. Batum played 27. I don't even know if he played the second half. Chris Dunn played 27. James Harden played 43 minutes. Bogdanovich, 22. Derek Jones Jr., 27, which is crazy because, again, Ty Lue wasn't in, or Ty Lue had to leave because he had back issues. So you look at it, and Bogdanovich and Derek Jones Jr., 2 guys who didn't start, those are 2 guys in their closing lineup. So they were just trying to figure this thing out on the fly. And they're able to get a W. And I'm just telling you, I hope I'm not the only one. I hope I'm not the only one that is sitting here just thinking the Kings, you could make the argument they should understand what's going on more than the Clippers at this point, because they don't even have their head coach. But the Kings, they're going to just be vibey. Let's take some shots. Somebody on the 530 said DeMar did fall, but the ref is saying that's not the reason he fell. Wow, well, fall harder. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fall harder.
You know my 2 cents on referees. Today's not the day to dive into it because I know people are really upset about this one. I just feel like it takes away from some of the missteps they had along the way. And I guess in fairness to your point, the Clippers also, both teams technically had an interim coach coaching last night, but Doug's
true.
Kind of been the head man longer, obviously, but I just feel like it takes away from like Keon not helping on that play in overtime, or the fact we talked about the LaVine shot at the top of the segment. They had that look. We didn't even get to talk about DeMar bricking that 3-pointer,
which was after that foul. The Clippers. I have up the play-by-play. Or if you want to believe in ball don't lie, the Clippers did not score. They got an opportunity again. It was still 97-95.
And that one play is going to, and then what happens afterwards, which I think is insane, is they call timeout, right? 22 seconds, Clippers have the ball. They sub in Keon Ellis for the first time since the end of the third quarter. He played 11 seconds in the fourth quarter in overtime, or just the fourth quarter. He played 11 seconds, and they put him on James Harden ISO, and he got beat on an ISO by James Harden to the left hand. So there's so many moments in this game that you can point to and say that's where they blew it, or that's where they had an opportunity, or that's where the game was won or lost, that I feel like holding on to that one call, which the refs reviewed and deemed was not a foul. Like if they call it on the floor and you feel like they got screwed on the Colby Jones one, fine. they went to replay, they overturned it. I feel like it takes away from the 5 different moments they had to win that game.
Let's get to Chrissy's cuts and what Doug Chrissy had to say after the heartbreaking loss on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy Kyle Draper. You know I'm a big guy, right, everybody? So sometimes, even my SUV or sedan, I want a little more space. Maybe I want to take the fellas to the football game or to the basketball game. Maybe I want to go golfing. Well, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has the perfect solution. They have a Vans Fleet Center, and they understand your business needs. They understand your personal needs as well. They have a great inventory and a huge selection, and plus they have the perfect van to power your fleet, including the new fully electric e-Sprinter alongside those reliable diesel options. So if you're looking for a new van just for personal reasons or even for your business fleet, head on over to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. And get this, you can take advantage of their exclusive limited time 0% APR financing offer for up to 60 months on select models. So head down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton or online at mbfstockton.com and tell them Drape sent you.
Spring is in the air, and that means gigantic savings for all your oil change needs at Jiffy Lube today. Get a $25 gift card with the purchase of any Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change through May 31st at your local Jiffy Lube service center in the greater Sacramento areas. And don't forget about the additional $30 off online coupon at jiffylube.com. Terms apply. Valid email address required. See pennzoil.com/rewards for details. Jiffy Lube, huge spring savings for you today.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. It's cold, and American Energy wants you to stay warm and make sure your system's operating safely. Here's the deal. A $49 tune-up inspection, which is regularly $119. That's a full safety and duct inspection. But guess what? If your system's over 10 years old, the tune-up is on them. That's right. It's free. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. And if you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Oh, by the way, breaking news. They're hiring right now. Here's the deal. They'll train you, full benefits, generous incentive-based pay. Just call today for more details at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Not only great deals from American Energy, but possibly a new career for you. Check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery from the law firm of Gingery, Hammer & Associates. When you have been injured by the fault of another, you will want advice you can trust. If you know an attorney you can trust, I hope you call that person. But if you don't, please call me. I promise I will be the attorney you can trust, along with my entire team. I have been helping accident survivors recover compensation for their injuries for 25 years, and we can help you. There is no charge for calling. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
Inbounds pass to Zubac. Back to the basket. Feeds it out to Harden. Crowded by Keon Ellis. Yet to put it on the floor. 15 seconds to go. Harden drives. Teardrop floater. Yes! It hit the front rim and it fell in. We are tied at 97. 11.9 seconds to go.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Continuing to break down what went wrong in the Intuit Dome last night as the Kings fall to the Los Angeles Clippers 111-110. Like I said, once you don't put away a team in the fourth quarter, there was no way. I mean, I was just preparing myself for an L. I'm telling you, we all know this. We all watch games. You are the away team. You blow a lead going into overtime. The home team, unless that home team is terrible, is going to win. That team is going to win. Zubac, I'm just seeing Rob Bishop saying Zubac killed us. Yeah, Zubac always kills the Kings.
Man, you are falling in love with Zubac this year. Even before this year,
he's balling, man.
He's the fourth best player on a playoff team, man. He's really good on offense.
22 points, 14 rebounds, and look, Valanciunas had 9. So you lost that match. He did have 17 rebounds, but you lost that matchup. I guess numbers wise, you could say DeMar DeRozan won his matchup. James Harden had 29. They tried to seek him out. Didn't seek him out on the last play, though. Zach LaVine falling away. That was what they wanted to go to. Let's see if Doug Christie had anything to say, or, again, if it's just vibes here on Christie's Cuts.
Tough one. Left-handed hook at the buzzer. Yeah, you're just going to have to live with that one. I thought that the guys were locked into the game plan. I thought they did a good job. I thought Zubac got away in the pocket from us a couple times that it took us a second to adjust to that. But all in all, like, the byproduct of playing hard like that is ultimately going to be wins, and super proud of the way that these guys continue to build off of everything. We want to win every game, so that just sucks and it hurts, and you got to deal with the pain that our league brings. But defensively, I thought there was some fantastic efforts out there, and we'll continue to build off of that. I was trying to tell Keon to go, but it was loud. He doesn't hear. I don't know that was their play, because it looked like they wanted him to go and extend the game, but he chose to do what he did. I think Keon peeked over his shoulder and he saw James, so he didn't go. But I told him, whenever you got a 3-side like that, we trust you. Pull the trigger. Jake was on the backside. We would have stunned it and figured it out. Like, if you're going to lose with a left-handed hook going across the lane, it bounces 3 times on the rim. I mean, hats off to Kawhi. More than anything, Jake had some fantastic stops, his effort, his physicality, his aggressiveness, a lot of the things that I continue to talk to them about. He was doing, it was back and forth. There was offensive and defensive subs, but he did a fantastic job. And I thought, since he's gotten here, trying to find a rhythm for him has been tough at times, but his size, his physicality allows us to switch in different things, and he did a good job.
That was Doug Christie breaking things down. The beginning, his opening statement was about 10 seconds.
Tough one. Left-handed hook at the buzzer. Yeah, you're just going to have to live with that one.
That's it. Then took some questions. And, I think a lot of people are at a loss for words, or, that's how it feels when you are just kind of reacting. I could only imagine how I would feel in that moment. You got to do a presser right after the game. You get to talk to the guys a little bit, and then got to go out there and give your thoughts on things when you don't really know what your thoughts are. And, oh, by the way, you got a game tonight, right? So you got to get on the plane. You got to come up and face a Knicks team who's going to be shorthanded, but they're also going to be ticked off. And they understand they're in a much better position than the Kings, part of it because of being the Eastern Conference. But, they're not trying to slip in the standings either. They're going to be hungry, and it's been a bad matchup for you. Yeah, of course, Jalen Brunson is a big part of that bad matchup, but they're not going to roll over. So a lot going on for the Sacramento Kings, and there are a lot of things that you could point to. As I mentioned earlier in the show, this is who the Kings are right now. You're not going to see, going back to a long, long time ago, one of the first times that the Kings lost to the Nuggets when DeMar DeRozan, the ball slipped out of his hand on that play call. You're not really going to see a lot of that moving forward because that's not really who this team is right now. They're not calling a ton of plays. Obviously they're setting screens, but in that moment, Doug Christie is being pretty open about this. And at the very least, he's consistent. We're going to try to find matchups. We think we have elite shot makers. We're going to try to find matchups that we can exploit. And sometimes it's going to work. This is me saying it, not him. But sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not. And last night, it did until it didn't. And in Denver, it did until it didn't. And that is my fear with this current iteration of the team. And those out there that continue to say, well, they didn't have Sabonis and they didn't have Malik. Yeah, I know. I realize that. But we're assuming, again, they're not going to have them tonight either. So what do these games, do they count any different? Because they don't have them? You got to win some of these games. So you can't just continue to sit there and say, well, they look pretty good for not having. Yeah, they did. They did. You're not wrong. They did.
Or even if you don't want to say, okay, they have to win some of these games, you kind of had to win that one.
Yeah.
We did the breakdown of the 4 teams fighting for 3 spots last week, and I put in the notes, the most important 2 games the rest of the season for the Kings are at the Clippers and at the Warriors. Those are the 2 most important games. And this one they had in the bag, and because of a triple bounce, they end up losing, and we'll talk about it later, but this really does hurt their chances.
Up 7, a minute 40 left. Is it terribly egregious? No. But when you get the overturn and then you decide I'm going to double down and take another 3, up 2 points, 24 seconds left in the game. I got to double check what the shot clock was at. But you decide to take that shot, and it just makes absolutely no sense to me. No sense. No sense. A wide open 3 from DeMar, completely different. Fine, I'll live with it. But you're taking a contested 3, 24 seconds left, and you're up 2. Somebody said on the text line, 530, the Kings were in the bonus. Why isn't the ball in Zach LaVine's hands? Get to the rack, dude. Get to the rack. But he didn't have the ball. DeMar had the ball. So I don't know how that would have happened.
Before we go to break, you want to play a quick game? When Keegan Murray hits that 3-pointer and he turns around and chirps at the bench a little bit, that put them up 7 with 2:19 to go. You want to guess what the Kings' win probability was according to ESPN?
I don't even want to know. 96, something like that.
93.5.
Yeah.
93.5. Their highest at any point in the game was 94.
Mike, we will get to you on the other side. You will kick off our 11 o'clock hour, and we break down just how important this stretch is for the Kings, because I don't know that everybody realizes what's been talked about and what I've been hearing and what could happen this offseason. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
We rely heavily on our HVAC systems during the cold valley winters and hot valley summers.
That's why there are so many HVAC companies out there. So when you need a new system or a tune-up, where do you turn? I turned to Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Once our heater checked out, we checked in at leesair.com. The entire experience exceeded our high expectations. You want prompt service from people who know what they're doing, can save you money, and will treat you right? For your HVAC needs, Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, on the web at leesair.com. Ask about their $99 HVAC tune-up service, license number 635355.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile brand. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers. T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with turbo power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Advanced Infusion Center, where we prioritize your comfort and well-being. Whether you're managing a chronic condition or seeking specialized IV therapy, our state-of-the-art center offers tailored solutions to meet your needs. Advanced Infusion Center's dedicated healthcare professionals are here to ensure your safety and provide personalized care. Conveniently located in Sacramento and Yuba City with flexible scheduling options. Experience a new standard in infusion therapy. Visit Advanced Infusion Center today at advancedinfusion.com.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-990-1551. That's 800-990-1551.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't want to.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
Maida Chevy sends you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST after rebates.
Year-end savings on now with $8,000 off new Silverados at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Jeff, you know I love the relationship comparisons. That is outstanding right there, because that's exactly how it feels. That is exactly how it feels, Jeff. You know, all I can say, Jeff, and I'm not trying to get in trouble, is just have some fun. That's all we can do, Jeff, is just have some fun.
Put it on a banner. Allen Stiles, have some fun with Jake LaRavia.
Hey, I hear you, Jeff. That's a great call. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Mike, who's been patiently waiting through the break. What's up, Mike? What you got for us?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Well, bummer last night with the Kawhi Leonard. I just have a few questions. One, I would like to point out, before he got the shot off, he did hook Keegan Murray. They're obviously not going to call it. That's how we got the space. I think Keegan was right there to contest, probably even block it if he doesn't get hooked. Also, a lot of people were talking about after the game on chats and stuff that, maybe if it's Harden, Curry, LeBron, when they do the review, they're probably going to count that.
Yeah.
I think DeRozan's name does carry a lot of weight, so that kind of like contradicts itself. But, like big names like Kawhi or, LeBron. What do you guys think about that? Also, before I get off, because I got to go to work, I love the show, you guys. Does this strengthen the Kings, like being battle-tested coming down the stretch? Because I think with this squad, without De'Aaron and Mike Brown and basically a lot of new players, this is like the game that was crunch time almost the whole fourth quarter. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. Hope work goes fast for you, or not too fast if you love what you do. I'll say this as far as the change. I think you're 100% right. I don't think DeMar DeRozan's name, and it's just the reality, I don't think DeMar DeRozan's name is anywhere in the same category as the other guys you mentioned. They don't dare reverse that on Steph Curry. They don't dare reverse that on James Harden. They don't dare reverse that on Kawhi Leonard. They don't. That's the reality. Right. And look, and I'm not going down the path of it rigged or anything like that. I don't know how to explain it. All I know is that you are not reversing that on LeBron James.
See, now you're sounding conspiratorial, which I would disagree with.
That's fine. But they're not doing it. I know they're not. and everybody listening knows they're not. They're just not doing it. So, look. It's not that I disagree with you, Mike. I just am the way I am dealing with that, because we can't change that part of it, is the fact that the Kings got the ball back with the same score. That's what I'm saying. You essentially got a redo. The basketball god said, I don't know what's going on in Jersey, but here you go. Here's an Amir Coffee brick. Here you go. You get a redo. And DeMar DeRozan, I don't know if he's a level of pissed off or I don't know what is going on, takes an ill-advised three. So to me, the basketball gods gave you another shot. If Amir Coffee, and I don't even know what that brother is shooting from three-point land, but if Amir Coffee makes that three, then yeah, I think we could sit here and spend an hour on that call. But you got the ball back with the same exact score. And you took a terrible, with less time. So you could have iced it. Instead, DeMar DeRozan takes a 26-foot three-point pull-up jump shot with 24.1 seconds left. Zubac gets the rebound with 22 seconds. They take the timeout, and James Harden makes the floater. So you're not wrong. Nobody is wrong talking about it. But the basketball god said, here you go. Here's another chance at it, DeMar. Here's another chance at it, Sacramento. We hate you, but we don't hate you that much. Here's another chance at it. And DeMar took a ridiculous three-point jump shot that almost wedgied. 916-339-1140. Let's go to Steven. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Steven? What you got for us?
Good morning, Kyle. Good morning, Alan. Hope you guys are having a good morning on this gloomy but yet beautiful Monday.
That's right.
So it is beautiful. Anyway, I'm done with the moral victories. I'm usually a guy that will come in and be like, well, they played great. Like, it was a great game. Like, blah, 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 blah. I'm not feeling that today. I'm not feeling that at all in any way, shape, or form. That game was damn near in the bag. And and we fumbled it. We fumbled the bag. We fumbled the bag, man. We literally fumbled the bag. And honestly, you need your flowers, Allen, because you've been preaching this for a while. You've been saying that, like, hey, don't get too high because some ish is going to start, some ish is going to start hitting the fan.
Right.
During the crunchy part of the season. And guess what? We're in the crunchy part of the season, and we're not going to get that lucky with these calls. We're not going to get that lucky with the refs. It was a very disappointing loss, very disheartening. I mean, Kawhi Leonard plays 6 games a year. Okay. I'm definitely exaggerating by a lot. Okay. But still, Kawhi Leonard does not play that great. And yet every single time that there is like, oh, hey, we're playing Sacramento, or Sacramento's coming to town, or whatever, everyone always feels like we are Robitussin.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Steven. And Kawhi, you could say he tried, but Kawhi was really not the problem. I mean, the brother was 1 for 7 from 3, 7 for 19 from the field. That shot that he made in overtime was the first shot that he took in overtime.
Keegan had him in the torture chamber.
Yeah, he had 17 points, 2 for 4. He was missing free throws. He was 2 for 4 from the free throw line. So the Kawhi piece of this was not the issue. James Harden, he kills the Kings. James Harden had 29 and 11. James Harden almost had a triple-double. He had 29 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds. And his two-man game with Zubac, they couldn't stop. They couldn't stop it. So that is, and I love this because, like I said, we know that anybody that is able to listen for longer periods of time, we really appreciate it. But I love 916 a few seconds ago. Can we talk about the terrible challenge last night, reversing a foul against DeMar? This is getting ridiculous. What does the 2-minute report say? Thanks. Welcome to the show, 916. Yeah, we've mentioned it. We're going to keep talking about it.
I'm begging for us to move on.
Yeah, we're going to keep talking about it. We get it.
I'm on the other side of that texter. Can we please stop talking about it?
We've definitely been talking about it, 916.
By the way, no 2-minute report.
We get it. You just now chiming in and just able to listen. We appreciate you. James Harden nearly a triple. It was James Harden to me. And they couldn't shoot. They just got one-upped by the terrible shooting from the Kings. James Harden was 3 of 11 from 3. Chris Dunn was 0 of 4. That dude is a brick. Kawhi Leonard was 1 of 7. Okay? They shot 32%, which normally would look terrible unless someone shoots in the 20s, which is what the Kings did. 26.5%. Zach LaVine was 1 of 7. He had 30 points. That's great. And you know what? And I'm sorry. I'm looking at this thing. The fact that DeMar DeRozan, and I know he had some long twos, the fact that DeMar DeRozan was 1 for 7, or I'm assuming, I don't know how many he took after, he had made 1 3 on the night as he took that egregious 3 with 24 seconds makes it even worse. That would have been a bad shot if he was 3 for 4 from 3. DeMar DeRozan has to be smarter than that. And I know he's playing with high emotion. Somebody on the text line said, did the call get reversed because of what DeMar said about the refs? I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I don't know that he did or not.
That's where you draw the line on conspiracy theory.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not doing all that. But what I am doing is you're 1 for whatever on the night. Maybe he was 1 for 5 at that time, maybe 1 for 6, and you take that shot. Dare I say, and I'm sorry, you might deserve to lose that game. I'm sorry. You played your butts off, but you might deserve to lose that game. And then you don't run a play. You just say, hey, give it to Zach LaVine or DeMar, and somebody set a screen. That's the type of stuff that's going to lose you basketball games against a champion like Kawhi Leonard. And that's just what it is. And James Harden, I know he gets the rap that he gets because he never won one or hasn't won one yet, but these guys are proven winners. They've won more than anybody on the Kings. So that's what happens. That is ridiculous, man.
To answer your question, that was his 7th 3-point attempt of the game.
That is terrible.
And I didn't realize this. DeMar DeRozan in overtime, 3 for 3 from the field, 4 for 4 at the free throw line, 10 points in 4.5 minutes, and you lose. Like, he gave them everything in overtime, and you lose.
So that's just where we're at with this. And we're gonna see what happens on the other side, because you have to move on. That is what it is. But as much as we can talk about the foul, that I agree, don't get me wrong, I agree. As much as we can talk about that, the reality is they had plenty of opportunities to put it away, and they didn't. When we return, this is what I was kind of teasing on social media. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the team as I have this to say about the one player I'm pretty certain is going to be on the team next season out of the rotation pieces. And I'm not counting Keon, but out of all of the elder statesmen and where they're going to be next season, this is how important this season actually is. I'm going to break it down player by player on the other side. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
There's nothing quite as serene and beautiful as our Sacramento rivers. It's something we can all take pride in. But just one piece of litter can ruin the picture. I'm Allen Stiles from Sacktown Sports. Let's work together to keep our community beautiful and make Sacramento litter-free. Clean rivers don't just mean beauty. They mean healthy fish, safe swimming, and a vibrant ecosystem. So remember, be river-friendly. Every little action makes a huge impact. Visit BeRiverFriendly.net now to be a part of the difference.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Well, how important is this season with an ownership group that has a propensity to be very impulsive? I would say that it's very important. I would say that every single game matters, and they are extremely results driven. That is my opinion, but it's my opinion based on what we've seen. Everything that we've seen supports that, right? We haven't seen very much as it pertains to growth and moving in a direction. And hey, even though you didn't get the result, we still did X, or we still did Y. Do you have the playoff revenue or not? Because if I don't have the playoff revenue, that means we didn't make the playoffs. And the reason we didn't make the playoffs, whether it was Luka flopping on Malik, whether it was Kevin Huerter messing up his shoulder, doesn't matter. I did not get playoff revenue last season, and that matters to me. That is how I'm reading the situation. So I don't even really want to pay you, Mike Brown, because I need playoff revenue as often as possible. But I'm going to pay you anyway. Oh, 5-game losing streak, goodbye. So because of that, I can't sit here and watch this team and think, oh, this team is going to get, I don't know, 3-5 years? No, we can settle in with this team. Why would I believe that? They essentially turned down better draft capital in the De'Aaron Fox trade for win now pieces. So what are you supposed to do, Johnny? You're supposed to win now. Let's take a look at the breakdown. So I made this breakdown of the team and who I feel comfortable saying will be on the team next season. This is based on what I'm hearing internally. Now, number one, the only player, I'll just get this out the way now. The only player that I feel about 98% sure that he will be on the team next season out of the core rotation pieces. The only play, and I'm not counting Keon, I'm not counting Jonas Valanciunas, kind of the bigger names here. The only player that I'm positive will be on the team next season is Zach LaVine. And if you were listening during the crossover, during crosstalk, some of that is because of how good Zach LaVine is. Some of that is because of that contract. But I am pretty darn sure Zach LaVine will be on the team next season. Now let's go through the rest of those pieces, okay? Let's start with somebody that I thought was going to be basically a shoo-in, right? His name is Doug Christie. Well, if you take a look at what's going on in Philadelphia, if you take a look at what's going on in Phoenix, if you take a look at what's going on to a lesser degree in Orlando, these are very, very sexy names on the merry-go-round, the coaching carousel. All right? Now, Nick Nurse dealt with some injuries, but maybe the Sixers just go in a different direction. You telling me that if Nick Nurse becomes available, that the leadership group of the Kings wouldn't look at that? Nick Nurse, champion? You telling me if the 76ers move on from him? You telling me if Mike Budenholzer, again, champion, is available, the Kings don't kick the tires on something like that? Well, Doug, we liked what you did, but, we had some opportunities there. That Nuggets game, I know you didn't have Sabonis, and I know you didn't have Malik Monk. I know, but, these guys have been to the promised land, and they're willing to come to Sacramento. So let's just start there with Doug Christie. I don't know. It's a weird situation. You lose Luke Laux, who, by the way, there were some interesting quotes from Doug Christie about losing Luke Laux, and he talks about how much work he's been doing. Doug Christie does, as Luke Laux is now headed to Florida State to hang out with Dave. So you're telling me if Nick Nurse is available, Mike Budenholzer available, the Kings, that's another sexy name. We get to say that a former champion is coaching our team. Not Mike Brown and not the champion as an assistant coach, a real champion coming to Sacramento. That's good stuff. Now let's go to Domas. Domantas Sabonis. The reports are already out. He's planning on meeting with the team. I feel pretty confident that Domas will be on the team next season, in part, be honest with you, because of that contract as well. But I feel pretty confident saying that Domas will be on the squad. But the reports are out. And the last time we saw reports about meeting with a team for the direction, if you recall, because it was just a couple months ago, didn't go so well. So you have that going on. Malik Monk, a very, very good contract. We all felt like he took a pay cut. Now, how much of that is true? I've heard some things, and maybe the money wasn't as much of a driver as one would think. Maybe we out here in Sacramento overstated or overestimated how much money was available for Malik. Maybe. I'm just saying what I may or may have not have heard. But Malik is here on a pretty darn good contract, which could net you a nice return if you decide to go in that direction. Okay, you need a point guard. Who knows? Keegan Murray. He could sign a contract and stay this offseason, sign his extension. They could do the Jordan Poole where they sign him, get through this season, and then move him, just like what the Warriors did. Or he could not sign and hit restricted free agency. And what happens if Keegan has a crazy, you can match. What happens if Keegan prices himself out? You can match, but they'd have to do it. Maybe the Kings don't feel like doing it. DeMar DeRozan, we discussed, turns 36 in August. He wants to play for a winner. I don't know, but I don't know this for a fact, but I'm not sure DeMar DeRozan wants to be logging 44 minutes at age 36. I know it went to overtime, but DeMar DeRozan's playing a lot of minutes. I truly don't know what DeMar DeRozan wants. Does he want to be the number one? Does he like taking all these shots? When he came to Sacramento, was he planning on taking the mantle from De'Aaron? Would he rather be a number 3 on a championship team? I do not know. He's already come out and said the coach that he signed to is gone. One of the main guys that recruited him is gone. And you're back with Zach LaVine, who, yeah, they had a good season together when they were both all-stars. But really, because of injury, they went back and forth on how much they played together and how much it actually works. We don't really have a big enough sample size, whether it works or not. These guys were both injured, in and out. Zach LaVine mostly. So it was DeMar DeRozan's team. Then it was Zach LaVine's team. Now it's both of them in Sacramento. So you have all of that going on. So all of those guys, we know Jake LaRavia is gone. He's the summer girlfriend that you just enjoy. And when she moves, you say, oh, let's keep in touch. And you don't. You don't. Maybe for a little bit. Back in my day, you message them on Facebook here or there, and then it just stops, right? We know Jonas Valanciunas is going to be here, but again, I'm talking about some of the other guys and Keon Ellis. He's going to have some decisions to make as well. But, a lot of people, Allen, that was a character game. Allen, they're playing what? No, you're not wrong. You're actually right. And I agree with you. But these timelines aren't adding up. If this was a organization that had shown, hey, we're here about the growth. We're here to try to build something. Well, number one, you probably don't have Doug Christie coaching right now, and you don't have this team. But the fact that we're in this situation with the land of misfit toys, if you will, with a lot of talent, still trying to bring everything together. And yeah, was it bad luck that Malik Monk went down? Yes. And bad luck that Domantas Sabonis has gone down? Yes. Both at the same time. But you're really tightening up the reins on the chances of things happening and what you expect to happen in those situations. So now everything is more important because you don't have time. Because you're trying to implement a new number one. You're trying to implement a new coach. You're trying to implement a new rotation all at the same time. And injuries happen in the sport. So it might feel like it's bad luck. No, it's kind of just the bed you made. Everybody is dealing with it. You just got to play a Clippers team with no Norm Powell. You just got to play a Nuggets team with no Aaron Gordon. Tonight you'll play a Knicks team with no Jalen Brunson. Jonathan Kuminga, the Warriors all over there, they made the move for Jimmy Butler. Jonathan Kuminga was playing the best basketball of his life. You got to find a way to keep it pushing. They have added too many. They continue to add too many variables into this equation. And with all that being said, we have no clue if this equation is going to make it to next season. The only person that I am quite positive out of this core rotation that will be on the team is Zach LaVine. That's it. So that's why I react the way I react. That's it. On the other side, we talk about those playoff odds. And we talk about how important last night's game was. 916-339-1140. Let's keep the conversation going. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray. Straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey, Sacramento. It's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed the musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Get ready for your chance to win $1 million by entering Sacktown Sports Bracket Challenge on Sunday, March 16. Brought to you by Xfinity. Stream live sports from the best seat in the house.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Save Mart and McKee Brothers Plumbing and Rooter Incorporated. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
And now a brief history of the garage door. Garage doors could date back to 450 BC when chariots were stored in gatehouses. Here in the States, they became a thing around the start of the 20th century. You could find a float-over door in a catalog way back in 1906. National Garage Door has been around since 1974. They're family-owned and operated, so you can trust them to solve any garage door issues you may have. Squeaky door, malfunctioning door, or a need for a new door, which is what prompted us to give them a call, 916-638-4554. At National Garage Door Services, their number one priority. I've witnessed that commitment in my own home, certainly in our garage. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer-branded garage doors. They are the nation's BSE broken spring experts. So if you have a garage door that looks and sounds like it dates back to 450 BC, National Garage Door can help, whether it's a garage door tune-up, repair, or replacement you need. They'll take care of you at National Garage Door, 916-638-4554. That's 916-638-4554. National Garage Door.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy Kyle Draper. You know, I still remember the first car I ever owned. It was sweet. It was cherry red, but it didn't quite run the way that I wanted. It would make a funny sound like something like that when I was driving, and eventually I had to get rid of it. But I tell you what, I wish I knew the fine people at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton back then. You know, their service department is first class, and they accept most extended warranties no matter where you purchase your vehicle. Their service department, those technicians out there, they're super experienced, more than 224 years. Plus, they treat you fairly. The price is fair. They treat you like your family. So schedule your service today at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. It's just a short drive right off I-5. Or, of course, you can go online anytime at mbfstockton.com to schedule your service today. And tell them Drape sent you.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
The 408, I'm just laughing because I had about, this is what, early high school, maybe middle school, multiple, because my parents would always, they loved to send me to summer camps, whether it was a sports focused camp, baseball in particular, or just summer camps, Camp Concord, which actually isn't in Concord. It's up there in North Lake Tahoe.
Grape jelly?
Or I'm in Florida back in the day. When I was I went to IMG for a summer, and I saw Venus Williams there. She was practicing. This was before IMG turned into the full-blown juggernaut. They had just broken to the other sports. So everywhere I went, there was someone that hey, we're going to make this thing work. I'm 15, you're 15, and Facebook just got started, but we're going to make this thing work no matter what. This is the 408. There's got to be a way we can keep Jake, though, right? In my opinion, the Kings team is the best fit for him and for his career. I don't think so, 408. You can try the long distance, but he's just going to get priced out. And that's what someone said at the beginning. When Jake LaRavia wasn't playing well, the conversation was, hey, maybe you'll get to sneak and keep him on a cheaper deal because he's not finding his flow. But now Jake LaRavia at what? At what, $5 million is the most they can offer him a year?
I was trying to remember what it was.
It's around $5 million. I know that.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was 4.8 or 5.2, but it was something like a 4-year, $21 million or something like that.
As far as them, the deal, because what they're doing, they traded for Jake LaRavia, which is under the Grizzlies deal. So the Grizzlies, that's what the Grizzlies were essentially okay with moving on from Jake. So that's why it's a summer fling. You have it, Kyle?
It's loading right now, but the Kings Herald put out, so his first year salary, I think, is $5.1 million. So, you can go up 8% from there. So yeah. So the Kings are now limited to a first-year salary of around $5.1 million. If anyone comes in with a bigger offer, the Kings will be unable to match regardless of available cap space. So I can do the math for you.
At about $6, maybe $7 million a year, something like that.
So it's first year 5.1. So I can do the math because the most you can increase is 8% on a contract every year. So let's say they offered him a 4-year contract, 5.1 the first year, 8% increasing every year.
Right.
I'm just doing rough math in my head. That would be about 23 point something million
for 4 years.
For 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. So it's possible.
Or about 3 years, 17.
Yeah, it's possible. How many long distance middle school relationships lasted? It's about the same chances. The same chances roughly. But yeah, 408. Definitely starting to see why Jake LaRavia has been kind of sought out by other teams and why Monty McNair was interested in getting Jake LaRavia. But I will say this, if it makes you feel any better. Jake LaRavia is a good player. But at the same time, I think that we are also seeing this is what happens when you have another capable wing that can defend and hit shots. You should be able to find someone Jake LaRavia adjacent in the future. We were all just thirsty for something because we hadn't seen it. So it's going to be tough losing him, but I do believe that we will be able to find something similar. And if anything, it says, hey, look how good Jake did. That's why we need to continue this trajectory of finding players like that as well. So don't fear 408. I know it's going to be tough. The summer fling, look, I shed a tear. I shed a tear for about a week, and then school started, and you get it going. 916-339-1140. Let's talk to TC. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Alan, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm vibing. Hey, bro, so I got this. Hey, I got to come on, right? And I got Niners and Kings, but I'm going to go Kings. It's just small on Brock Purdy.
Okay.
But as far as the Kings with LaRavia, bro, we talking like LaRavia's leaving, bro. It's his decision if he's going to want to sign. Somebody can offer him more money, but he can say, hey, I'll stay in Sac, bro, for the $5 million because I like being here. I like the brothers around me.
Sure.
At the end of the day, it's going to be his decision, bro. So I think we're going to sign LaRavia back. Jake the Snake, he'll be back, bro, in his uniform. As far as DeRozan, bro, I don't care how much he gives clutch baskets and all that, bro. Some of those shots at these games, bro, are bad. Dude, you have to pass the ball and swing. I get it. He's a Hall of Famer, DeRozan, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Bro, I don't care about none of that, dude. Your shot selection at the end of the game, checking at that three-pointer, bro, that's a bad shot, DeRozan, dude. We got to figure that out. Doug, we have to figure that out.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, TC. Great stuff as always. That's what I asked. So if you're just now joining us, before the Spurs game, I talked to Doug Christie and asked him about what happened in Denver, how it became very DeMar DeRozan heavy. And I'll give Doug this. He stood on his business and said, that's what we're going to do. Right? He did not bring up, maybe we should have moved. No, Jamal Murray was on DeMar DeRozan, we're going to go to that over and over again. That's what we're going to do. So that's what we're living with. So it's not basketball that I thoroughly enjoy watching. And I said that earlier on the show. I don't know if I meant to say that out loud, but I did. I don't like the way the Kings are playing basketball right now. It just, to me, again, I'm going to sound very get off my lawn, but it just doesn't seem sustainable. And I've been saying it over and over again. They will not get blown out because they have elite score making. They have elite shooting talent. They have elite scores, 2 elite scores. And 3, I would say Malik is not at the elite level scoring, but he's really, really close. But you got 2 of them. So they're always going to be in the game. And you got Keegan Murray. And here's the tough thing about last night. I want to talk about Keegan Murray doing his thing and talking trash to the bench and how we're seeing Keegan evolve. I want to talk about Devin Carter. And Devin Carter shutting some people up last night. Got to see more. But I like the putback, made a 3. I like what I see from Devin Carter. But in a situation like we're in, there's no time for that. There's no time. 916 says he's not signing for $5 million a year. You're dreaming, TC.
Well, I have busted out the literal calculator. I pulled the calculator out of my backpack, and I have the numbers here on Jake LaRavia's possible contract.
You just got a calculator in your backpack like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I am, in fact.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, so Jake LaRavia could sign for a 1-year, $5.1 million contract with the Kings. Just based on Kings Herald, you start at 5.1 and then you can increase 8% every year. So your options are a 1-year, $5.1 million contract, a 2-year, $10.6 million contract, a 3-year, $16.556 million contract. So that's $16,556,000. Or a 4-year, $22.98 million contract, which is basically 4 years, 23.
I don't want to get too much in the weeds here, but would it open things up? Is he kind of doing a bet on yourself thing if he signed a 1-year deal and then after that?
Depends.
For example, he's in Sacramento, so of course nobody pays attention to him now, right? So he's in Sacramento. Nobody's paying attention to him. The market isn't what he thinks it would be, right? Or it should be. So instead of taking, even if it's 30 mil from another team, he still wants to get paid more. What if he took the 1-year deal and then would he be to, prove it deal, if you will. And then after that, could the Kings then sign him to a bigger deal or some other team? And he thinks that could help his market.
So it depends on whether he thinks he will be able to increase his value. So without getting way deep in the weeds.
Right.
So Jake LaRavia was a end of the first round pick. Like he was a first round pick, but he wasn't a lottery pick.
Right.
So he got a 4-year contract. But the way those 4-year contracts work is that it's a 2-year contract and the team has an option at the end of year 3 and year 4.
Yeah.
So the Grizzlies said yes to his year 3 option. That's usually going into training camp. So probably going into training camp last year, the Grizzlies said yes to his 3rd year. Going into training camp this year, they said no to his 4th year option.
Right.
So he can be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So it's not like he can sign with anyone he wants for whatever the market is. The only reason you would take the 1-year deal is if, say, someone's offering you like 3 years at $12 million. And he's like, I think if I have one good season, I could make $12 million.
But that's what I'm
after
saying.
That.
But right now, the Kings cannot pay him what other teams can pay him. But if that market isn't good enough, or he doesn't feel like that market's good enough, if he says, I'm going to stay with the Kings for another year, if that year went well, could the Kings then cash him out?
It depends on what they sign him on his contract for, right? It depends on the details of what they write in the contract, which, maybe I think they used all their mid-level exception.
Let's not, we don't need to get too far in the weeds into it. We're already far enough.
I would assume the answer is yes.
Sure. He's probably gone, but the point is, I think that just seeing what another wing can do and how another wing can help as we're still getting a lot of Keegan Murray, that is something that the Kings do need, whether it's Jake LaRavia or whether it's somebody else. When we return, the playoff odds for the Kings, they moved a little bit after Kawhi's, and it was kind of reminiscent of his game against the Sixers, after Kawhi destroyed the hearts of Kings fans everywhere. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, reminding you that every deal at Folsom Lake Ford is a slam dunk. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, including America's best-selling truck for over 47 years, Ford F-Series, plus a huge selection of Broncos, Bronco Sports, and all of Ford's award-winning SUVs at FolsomLakeFord.com. Listen, I know a great play when I see one, and if you want to save on a new Ford, you gotta drive the lane straight to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with zero down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest financing, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. So hurry to Folsom Lake Ford, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they're my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop them online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to the A to Z savings event at AutoZone. Yeah, happy to be here. Can I get some rotors? Would you like brake pads with that? How much are the brake pads? Free with the rotors. Free. Really? Really, free. Okay, I also need some oil. Would you like an oil filter with that? Yeah, how much is that? Free with 5 quarts of oil. Free? Really? Really, free. It's part of the A to Z savings event. You might as well call it A to free. At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. It's cold, and American Energy wants you to stay warm and make sure your system's operating safely. Here's the deal. A $49 tune-up inspection, which is regularly $119. That's a full safety and duct inspection. But guess what? If your system's over 10 years old, the tune-up is on them. That's right. It's free. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. And if you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Oh, by the way, breaking news. They're hiring right now. Here's the deal. They'll train you. Full benefits, generous incentive-based pay. Just call today for more details at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Not only great deals from American Energy, but possibly a new career for you. Check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Listen for the Toyota Tahoe Report every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with Johnny Mosley to get the latest weather conditions in Tahoe throughout this snow season. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
The shot heard round the world, around the Sacramento Kings world. By the way, like I said, a lot of Kings to get to, and we're getting to it, but the NFL hot stove has been insane.
Aw, such a baseball person. They don't call it the hot stove.
Well, that's what I'm calling it. You have Sam Darnold going to the Seahawks, Geno Smith going to the Raiders. The Jets just agreed to a 2-year deal with Justin Fields. So he is reunited with his Ohio State teammate, Garrett Wilson. We'll get to all that. And, I'm kind of glad that we're not breaking it all down yet because there's still a lot happening. So we will get to all that tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, just throughout the rest of the week as a lot is moving and shaking in the NFL as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft. And I think what we're learning is nobody is that high now on Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, or maybe it's just Cam Ward and only one team can get Cam Ward. So we'll break all that stuff down. But yeah, the Seahawks, I got my buddies that are Seahawks fans. They were joking me about the Raiders getting Geno Smith, and now Sam Darnold is a Seattle Seahawk. There you have it. So having some fun with that. And there are more moves coming. Some running back moves come. Elijah Mitchell, who the last time he took a snap, I don't think I was a father yet, and my kid's almost 2 now. So he is now with the Chiefs, so he'll be good again. And a lot of moves happening in the NFL as we continue the conversation in the NBA, specifically about Kawhi Leonard and the 12 bounce shot that we knew was going in, right? We knew Zach LaVine's shot was not going in. We knew it would bounce out because it's Sacramento. And we knew Kawhi's shot would bounce in because it's against Sacramento. So with one shot, the Kings' shots of making the playoffs have dropped dramatically. This is from Basketball Reference, the playoff probability report. The Kings' playoff odds have dropped to 37.2% after last night's loss. Meanwhile, the Clippers improved to 67.2. Now, Kyle, just to be clear here, are they counting up until number 8, or are they counting just in the playoffs? How are they doing
It's
that?
2 separate things. There are separate odds for this. This is just playoffs altogether. There's a separate odds for play-in results, which I can read those to you as well.
So essentially, if you're in the 7-8, it's just a really good chance. You're giving yourself 2 chances.
The numbers you just read, the 37% and the 67%, that's after the play-in's done.
Right. So again, if they assume that the Clippers are going to finish 7 or 8, based on the numbers, you're giving yourself 2 chances to win. So you have a 67% chance. They're just giving a lot of credibility to being a 7 or an 8 seed, which is what we've been talking about this whole time.
So I'll tell you exactly how they get it. So they run 10,000 projections of every remaining game for the rest of the season.
Oh boy.
And they determine what, they figure out what seed is what, and then they determine whoever. The reason they choose 10,000 is that's a pretty representative sample size of what your chances are, because by that point, every possible outcome has pretty much been taken into account.
Sure.
I say that to say, they then run simulations for the play-in games. So they have separate ones for what it will look like at the end of the regular season and after the play-in. The 67-37 is once we've seeded 1 through 8 in the playoffs start.
Right. So the Kings, 73% chance of playing in the 9-10 play-in. In game with a 52.1% chance of ending up with the 9 seed. They only have a 1.7% chance of ending up with the 6 seed or better. You know what? I know there's somebody out there, somebody that believes. Go get that 1.7. 1.7 tatted on you somewhere if you truly believe. I'm not doing it.
You want me to help people feel better maybe about that?
Sure.
1.7 is the chance that the Kings end up 1 through 6. If they end up being the 9 seed and missing out on the playoffs, 1.5 is their chance of landing Cooper Flag.
There you go.
So the Kings have a better chance of being the 6th seed than landing Cooper Flag.
There you go. Go get it tatted so I know it's real. 1.7% chance. They said it couldn't be done. Just go out there and win games, Sacramento.
This might not feel great either, but only a 6.5% chance of being the 7.
I don't like that at all. I don't like that. So it starts tonight. Knicks at Kings. You go to the Bay to take on the Warriors. You go to Phoenix to take on the Suns. You host the Grizzlies. You host the Cavs. You host the Bulls. You host the Bucks. You host the Celtics. You host the Thunder. That's it. And March ends with Blazers at Magic, at Pacers, and that's it. Because Wizards starts April. Because of course it would. Because it's not a hard team, or it's an easier team. 916 says, I mostly feel bad for new fans who didn't know that we were 100% losing that game once it went to OT. Who's out there who thought the Kings were going to win in OT? Kyle, of course it was. Of course you believed. They were never going to win in overtime.
I only bring this up to bring up the point. One of the most interesting stats or trends that have been noticed over the years, and again, I'm going to hit myself with the sound real quick. Nice. One of the most interesting trends is that overtime is basically a coin toss. Like game circumstance, I know it feels like game circumstance, and whether you're at home or on the road makes a difference, but once you get to overtime, it's basically the same odds you had going into the game, or the odds that you have of winning the game, because it's such a small sample size. So I thought the Kings had a decent chance of winning in overtime, because every team has a decent chance of winning in overtime. And by the way, DeMar DeRozan went 3 for 3 from the field and 4 for 4 at the free throw line in overtime. Like, he was carrying them. And I know this gets lost, but they were one quadruple bounce away from winning in overtime. They had the lead in overtime when the clock hit 0. So they were really close to winning that game, and I believed that they were going to be able to pull it out.
It wasn't a huge deal to me. I kind of felt like the Keegan, and I don't know that anything else would have. You don't want the game to end and you still have your challenge, but I thought that Keegan challenge call, and I don't specifically remember another call that could have been challenged, but I thought the Keegan challenge call was kind of unnecessary. Keegan was clearly moving, and there was still basically, it was just under 4 minutes. There's a lot of time left to challenge that. I just thought it was I guess you never know, right? When they challenged the Clippers, when they challenged that DeMar call, probably didn't think they were going to win it. So I guess that's part of it. They could not stop that pick and roll, or whatever you want to call it, with Zubac and James Harden. So Zubac gets that foul. Then they get the offensive. That right there was when I knew they were losing. When Zubac missed the second free throw, they got the offensive rebound, and James Harden made that 3. Because James Harden, he was 3 of 11 from three-point land. So when they made that 3, I was pretty sure that they weren't going to win overtime. I knew they were losing the game when James Harden made that 3.
But they were winning on the last play of the game. And there were a lot of what-ifs just in that overtime itself. And I think we wasted 30 minutes talking about that foul call too much, because you had DeRozan stepping on the line into that shot that would have put them up by 2. You had DeRozan falling back to the three-point line and stepping on the line. You had Harden hitting the floater over LaRavia right before that. You had Kawhi's shot that then bounced in. I know we talked about it briefly, but Keon is supposed to go help on that play, and you're forcing Kawhi to either throw the ball away, or it gets deflected, or by the time it gets to Harden, you're taking a poor long-range three-pointer in a 1-point game as the clock is expiring, right? There's so many little moments in there where it's like, this is why the game ended up going the way it did, was little moments there. Just like the Clippers could spin little moments in there and be like, this is where we should have won the game. The thing that makes it hurt more is that the Kings were playing from a position of the lead. 94% win probability in regulation, 70% win probability in overtime. They were playing from a position of having the lead, and they blew it.
108 to 107. That DeMar makes that jumper. That's with 40 seconds left. James Harden makes another floater, 109 to 108. DeMar DeRozan gets fouled. They go up 110 to 109. Just get a stop. And they could not get the stop. And that's how it ended. But they had an opportunity. They were quite literally winning. And you couldn't find a way to get a stop at the very end. And it's a make or miss the league. That's just what it is. And Zach LaVine missed it to go to overtime, and Kawhi made it once he got into overtime. And it's really that simple. What's not simple is how the Kings are continuing to try to survive without Malik Monk and the lack of. I had to double check if Markelle Fultz was injured because of the no Markelle Fultz minutes last night.
He played 2 minutes.
Yeah. In an overtime game with Malik Monk out again tonight and Domantas Sabonis also out. We continue the point guard conversation on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Spring is in the air, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping for new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Continuing to read your text messages, 916-339-1140. 2 hours down, 2 to go on this Monday. And enjoy the sun right now because I believe it's supposed to rain a bit later in the week.
I hate the snow.
I do.
I hate the snow.
I really do.
I hate the rain and I hate the sleep. Man, I sure do hate the snow. Feet are froze and my toes are too. I hate.
Whoa! Thank you, mailman from Hey Arnold, because that's how I'm going to be feeling a little bit later in the week. I got some golf planned on Saturday, so hopefully it doesn't rain too bad on Friday. But I'll be out there either way. I will be out there either way. I already got the green light, so I'm going to rock and roll with that. And the Kings are going to have to rock and roll tonight with no Malik Monk, with no Domantas Sabonis. And I'm double checking, Kyle. I know that the Kings released something ahead of, I know that, or I guess I'm pretty sure that Domantas Sabonis is out. I think we're still kind of waiting on Malik Monk because they released something before the Clippers game. And now I think we're still waiting to see what is official on as far as the game tonight.
Yeah, so Sabonis, this was the injury update from Saturday. Malik Monk is advancing in his return to play plan. He's been cleared for on-court activity and completed an individual workout. He will be listed as out versus the Clippers on Sunday. Right. Further updates will be provided as necessary. But with Sabonis, they said he will be out the next 2 games and reevaluated Tuesday.
There you go. Right, so Sabonis out for sure. But it is, we're still trying to figure out whether or not the Kings will have Malik Monk tonight. And I think that would be a huge lift. Either way, you got to win this ball game. Either way, you have to win this basketball game if you want to continue. We already read off the numbers as far as the playoffs are concerned. Y'all know I've been in the just don't be 9 camp this whole time. And now you're dealing with, and by the way, not trying to pile on, but the next 4 games for the Clippers, you get the tiebreaker for sure. The Clippers' next 4 games, and it does get a bit tough for them after this. They still have the Cavs twice, but the Clippers' next 4 games, at Pelicans, at Heat, at Hawks, and then they host the Hornets. So after those 4, you do have to host the Cavs, you do have to host the Grizzlies, you do have to host the Thunder, you go to Knicks, and you get the Cavs again at some point after a Nets game. So, they're going to, at very worst, win 3 of those games. If they go 2-2, I think we should be thanking our lucky stars. They're probably going 3-1 because they know what they have coming after that. So they go 4-0, 3-1, and that's another spot. You're looking at the Western Conference standings. That's another spot where, okay, how are we going to leapfrog these guys? We've already kind of moved on from the Mavericks, who they gave somebody another win. I think it might have been the Grizzlies. They gave somebody a win last night, or the Timberwolves. You look here, the Clippers in that 8 seed, and now they have that tiebreaker over the Kings. The Timberwolves in the 7 seed. Warriors in that 6 seed. They got their eyes on a floundering Rockets team who will be without, again, back to injuries. It happens. Amen Thompson. I think he's out 2 weeks, something like that. LeBron and his groin, he's out 1 to 2 weeks. This stuff happens.
Yep, Lakers are going to start sliding a little bit again.
This stuff happens. So I don't know how much they'll slide. I mean, you still obviously have Luka. We got to take a look at, and I know the Lakers have a pretty tough strength of schedule too, but you start looking around at the 7 or 8, and that Clippers game kind of, it doesn't lock the Clippers in to that 8 seed at worst, but they'd have to trick it off. I mean, they're to the point where, because I believe the Clippers have the 8th hardest strength of schedule, and obviously the Kings are top 3, and most of the time they've been 2 behind the Suns. So the Clippers are in a good position to stop their avalanche and stay above the 9.
I mean, we believe in the Pelicans. Pelicans going to get it done for us.
I mean, Kawhi's got to sit at some point, right? He needs a rest day at some point.
Maybe he played 40-something minutes in last night's game, and he played, I can't remember what it was. Against the Lakers, he played a lot of minutes, because I know Laker fans are making jokes like Kawhi hasn't played this much.
I saw that.
Whatever else, but
it's not a back-to-back. They have the Pelicans tomorrow. Maybe you'd get a Kawhi break if it was tonight.
Come on, Pelicans. We believe in you. Sorry, Talanoa Hufanga, De'Aaron Fox's brother-in-law, just signed with the Denver Broncos.
Wow. Okay, so Hufanga is now a Denver Bronco as the moves keep happening in the NFL. And like I said, we're gonna round all that up later in the week once it feels like things are cooling off and break that down for you. But as we look at the next couple games here for the Clippers and the Kings, now that the Clippers officially have the tiebreaker, they gotta hold on. They gotta hold on somehow, some way. And the 9, to me, what a crazy way to end in the same spot. If you're the Kings, with everything that has happened, new coach, new number 1 option. And honestly, is there a new number 1? There's a new number 1 option because it's either DeMar DeRozan. If it's not Zach LaVine, it's DeMar DeRozan. I do wonder sometimes how Zach LaVine feels in these moments. Zach LaVine, he's getting paid a good amount of money. I think he'd tell you that. And to just not even get the rock in crunch time. He did get it he had his opportunity.
Yeah, he had his one shot.
DeMar gets the rest of them.
Yeah. I mean, he had 3 points in overtime, but DeMar had every shot in overtime. I kind of want to talk about this real quick because the rotations were so interesting without Malik Monk or Domantas Sabonis, because it was like Zach and Keon played entire quarters at a time, and then DeMar and Keegan played entire quarters at a time. It was so strange, and you're right. At the end of the game, it was like all game they had been I bring it up just to say your point. All game they had been alternating from DeRozan takeover to LaVine takeover to DeRozan takeover to LaVine takeover. And Keegan had a great offensive fourth quarter, but before that it was like he was like 3 for 10 and had like 10 points. But it was like DeMar, LaVine. They were never on the floor at the same time.
Well, that's what it was. I mean, we didn't see a lot of it, but that's kind of how it was with De'Aaron and DeMar, right? It's just not if you look at how other teams are set up, though, it's either one guy. Like I'm very interested to see how the Thunder evolve, because right now it's a lot of Shea, and Jalen Williams is, hey, I'm here if you need me, if you need a couple plays off. But there's not full on. I know we just had 40. What was that, a week ago? But there's not a lot of it's Jalen Williams time. So you're not really swapping off times, which is why I think maybe the Mavs had moved off from Jalen Brunson or didn't go in the direction of Jalen Brunson, which is funny because they brought in Kyrie. But even if you watch the Mavericks with Kyrie and Luka, it still made more sense because Luka is such a good facilitator.
And Kyrie can play off ball too.
Exactly. So that also made sense. If you look around the league, I guess, I don't know, the Cavs don't make sense because they're just so complete. Because even if Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, don't make as much sense as maybe you might think. It still works because, hey, we're both going to dump to the bigs and do things like that. So there is a reason why you don't have two, I guess, high volume, non-distributing scores on one team, and that's what the Kings are right now. So it gets to a point where you're at the end of the game and, all right, DeMar's been here longer, so I guess it's DeMar. He's the clutch guy, and Zach LaVine just twiddles his thumbs.
Well, I think the funniest thing about that, and I know they're trying to not fall into that trap, but their number 3 scoring option is also Malik Monk, who fits kind of the same description.
Well, and his production so far has been awful.
Which is why I would say there's levels to this, right? Like you said, Jalen Williams is kind of like the, hey, I'm here to take over if you need me.
Yeah.
To which I would say, oh, a defensive wing who's there if you need me on offense.
Mm-hmm.
But Jalen Williams is not Keegan, right? There's levels to this thing. Jalen Williams can give you 30 if you need. I don't know if Keegan would ever be put in a situation where he needs to give you 30.
And there's a good part of this, too, as you bring up Jalen Williams being a wing and having good size on him as your number 2, which is funny because that's what De'Aaron Fox said to Michael C. Wright on Friday about bringing in another wing. You have 2 guys who are negatives defensively in Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. So it's offense, and it's one of them. If one of them isn't scoring, the guy they're guarding might still be scoring. So that's a part of it.
Meanwhile, your second best defensive option, which at this point is probably Keon Ellis, we're finding out he can't really guard ball handling ones.
He can't guard ball handling ones, and he can't guard bigger threes. So
it's a very specific skill set.
That's right. And this whole, which gets exposed, and which is why Keegan has to guard everyone. Or
they put Jake LaRavia in for the final 10 minutes of the game.
And that is where this team is at right now. Either way, there's no excuses. You need to win this basketball game tonight against the Knicks. And we know at the very least that Jalen Brunson won't be playing. We will check in at 1 o'clock during our preview, see who else is playing. Speaking of Keegan Murray, is he starting to grow into a number 3 scoring option? Let's go a little bit positive here. Keegan Murray is doing some things last night. He's talking trash and taking names. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number 1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
We rely heavily on our HVAC systems during the cold valley winters and hot valley summers. That's why there are so many HVAC companies out there. So when you need a new system or a tune-up, where do you turn? I turned to Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Once our heater checked out, we checked in at leesair.com. The entire experience exceeded our high expectations. You want prompt service from people who know what they're doing, can save you money, and will treat you right. For your HVAC needs, Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, on the web at leesair.com. Ask about their $99 HVAC tune-up service, license number 635355.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
916 says, go ahead and mark tonight as a loss. No Sabonis, and Monk is an automatic loss against any team with a record over 500. We're cooked. We will lose in the play-in tournament, and I would bet my children's college funds on that.
Oh, don't do that.
Well, as far as the play-in tournament is concerned, I don't. Right now, if it happened right now, Kings would beat the Mavericks. I feel good about that. And then they'd have to either go to LA or go to Minnesota. And by the way, I'm going to take a little victory lap. A lot of people were getting on me because of my take last week that I would rather face the Timberwolves in a winner go home than the Clippers. And I know they took them to the brink again, but they've actually beat the Timberwolves. They've beat the Timberwolves. And I know Sabonis was missing and Malik Monk was missing. I don't look, y'all, I can't explain it. I just don't want to see the Clippers in the play-in. I don't want to see the Clippers. They don't beat the Clippers. They don't. They beat the Timberwolves.
I see what's happening here. You're scared. You're scared of that cold-blooded assassin, Kawhi Leonard.
I mean, he could be 0 for whatever. He still found his way to 17 points and had the game winner.
Yeah, he played terrible, and he's still going to haunt you.
Yeah, and you got, again, a Keegan game, and we're about to give our flowers to Keegan. Keegan got to 15, 3 or 6 from the field. Keegan's chasing him around all day, but you're not going to get a ridiculous game from Keegan offensively because he's got to deal with Kawhi all day.
Yeah, but if the quadruple, pentuple, sextuple bounce ends up not going in, Kawhi finishes with 15 points and Keegan finishes with 15 points. Yeah. And you're going to take that.
You are.
Kawhi, Keegan and Kawhi having the same game, that's great. It's the reason why they stayed in it.
But here's the thing. The problem to me is what happened in Denver. I think where we're at in the season, as far as the numbers are concerned, if you want to get to the 7 seed or you want to get to the 8 seed, you have to win one of those games. It would be nice to win both. The Spurs game, I'm not even counting because you literally have to win that game. But you never know when the basketball gods are going to give you a gift. And I'm not saying that nobody likes injuries, but we didn't know at the time that the second game off this back-to-back was going to be the Knicks without Jalen Brunson. That's a huge deal. So you have to take advantage of situations. I'm not saying, I'm not saying you have to win both those games, Nuggets or Clippers. I'm saying if you don't want to be a 9-10 seed in the West, you got to win one of those games when you still have, and I'm not even going to say it again because I feel like I keep repeating myself with the rest of March. We know what's coming. We know the March Madness that's upon us. You have to win one of those games. One.
I think it was not that you have to win one. It's that you have to win that one. Because that one was so important, which is the thing that I said off the top. Again, nuanced. It has all of the ingredients of a moral victory, but you dropped, in my estimation, the most important game the rest of the season. That game last night was the most important game because the Clippers are the team that you're probably going to be battling for the 8th playoff spot, and you're chalking up Dallas as a win, fine. If you'll get through the first round of the play-in because Phoenix or Dallas has no shot, that game tonight was essentially a home court advantage flip for your one game to decide the season. Last night was almost like and roll with me if you think this is true. Last night was like a trial run for the play-in, right? There was this one game that flipped home court advantage from the one shot, flipped home court advantage in the 8-9 game from the Clippers or from the Kings to the Clippers.
Right.
So it's almost like this could have happened in the play-in, but now it was like a trial run for what you'll come to expect when, at least now in more likelihood, I'm not going to say all likelihood, in more likelihood, you're going to have to go to Los Angeles at some point in the play-in to battle the Clippers.
And if you're the Clippers, you're thinking, I know that the Kings, they shot 26.5% from 3, but we've seen them go cold before. If you're the Clippers, you're thinking, yeah, they were missing Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis, but we won a game where Kawhi went 1 of 7 from 3, and we shot 32% from 3.
And they didn't have Norman Powell.
They didn't have Norman Powell, and James Harden was 3 for 11 from 3. So they're feeling like we could have played much better. Now, are they going to do we credit the Kings defense? Do we also just say that the Clippers were a bit off, as most things in life go down, is probably somewhere in the middle. So everyone in Los Angeles is feeling good about that. We wanted to get to what Keegan Murray has been doing since the All-Star break. He's averaging 15 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 1.1 assists in 7 games since that All-Star break. And Keegan, to me, is evolving. And that's what stinks, right? And we talked about the the other players as far as once this season ends, who we feel confident saying will be on the team. Like I said, I'm the most confident that Zach LaVine will be on the team, but I'm pretty darn confident that Keegan Murray will be on the team next season as well. And it stinks because we're watching him evolve, right? And I guess that's the part of it that you can take towards the future. DeMar DeRozan, I'm looking at that brother as make or miss because he's 35 years old. He's here to win now. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's going to build DeMar's character. DeMar's career is almost over. So I'm looking at DeMar for what it is. Zach LaVine, kind of in the same conversation, but I can look at it to the future as well because I feel like the Kings are going to move forward with Zach LaVine, right? He's got, $48 million he can opt into after the end of next season. So, yeah, we can do that with Zach LaVine. But DeMar DeRozan, I'm harder on DeMar DeRozan because we don't know how long this thing is going to end. He turned 36 in August, right? But what we're seeing from Keegan Murray and the growth as it started with, and maybe, losing a De'Aaron Fox can help take the training wheels off. He's got no Harrison Barnes anymore. He's got no De'Aaron Fox anymore. He's got no Mike Brown anymore. You grow up quick, right? And maybe we're watching Keegan grow up quick. And you lose DeMar DeRozan next season because DeMar wants to go play on a real contender. Keegan's going to have an opportunity to grow up quick again. So those are the things that I'm going to take from it. So as the team as a whole, yeah, I don't think this team is a building block for the future, but there are pieces of it. Yeah, what Devin Carter did was nice, and I appreciate seeing that. What we're seeing from Keegan Murray, I appreciate that too. So we can pick and choose what we do think is going to continue and what we don't think is going to continue. We alluded to a bit of an interesting soundbite that Doug Christie had when he was asked about, from my guy Jeremiah, who I believe asked the question, if I'm not mistaken. Doug Christie, I don't want to go to tinfoil hat here, but Doug Christie had, at the very least, we'll call it an interesting response when he was asked about Luke Laux moving on to Florida State. It seems like he wanted to say something, but did not want to, I don't want to say get in trouble, but also did not want to say something. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
I feel so alone. I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like it. When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. Cal Hope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
Meanwhile at Xfinity.
Okay, huddle up. Do you realize how many fans stream basketball? It's madness.
But real fans stream with Xfinity Internet.
Totally. We've engineered the fastest connection.
With reduced buffering and low lag.
'Cause making streaming better is what we do!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Can we let go now? It's really not a huddle with two people.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and stream live sports from the best seat in the house. Bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Actual speed vary. Not guaranteed.
Dunks, threes, buzzer beaters. There's so much NBA happening. I gotta keep up.
Easy there. There's a better way to NBA with the NBA app.
Wait, really?
Follow your favorite teams and the league's brightest stars. Be on the ball with real-time stats and scores.
Yeah?
And go behind all the drama with new docs and shows.
Are you kidding?
Catch every swish, dunk, and bucket. All of this, all in one place, all for free.
Thank you.
There's a better way to NBA. Download the app today. Available on the Google Play, Apple app, and Android stores.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Save Mart and McKee Brothers Plumbing and Rooter Incorporated. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery. One of the most common questions I receive is what makes us different from other law firms. At Gingery, Hammer & Associates, we handle your case from beginning to end. Whether your case reaches a settlement, whether we need to file suit, or even take it all the way to trial, we will be with you along the entire way. And because we are committed to you and your case, we are as invested as you are in making sure you get the outcome you deserve. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Halfway through hour number 3. Watch some. Yeah, we are. March Madness is here. Watch some men's college basketball yesterday, women's college basketball as well.
South Carolina cooked.
Yeah, the big conferences for the men's, they start up this week. So very excited to watch that. Watch some of I always love watching the smaller conferences. It looks like they're in a high school gym and they're literally playing for their lives. Don't give me Duke, who they're playing for seeding. Give me, I don't know why I always say Iona, but give me Iona. Again, maybe because I lost to them a long time ago, but give me Iona, who if they lose, it's a wrap. I saw, and I know I read this, that certain conferences are giving their number 1 seeds 1 and 2 buys because they don't want them to lose. They don't want them to lose because they want to be represented by the best they have to offer, not some random team that got hot. And what happened yesterday, Chattanooga basketball, the 1 seed, Chattanooga basketball, they lose, and obviously I would assume they're cooked.
Yeah, if you lose once, you're done.
Right, they lose to Furman, the Furman Paladins. They lose, so the Chattanooga Mocs are done. That's what I was watching last night, getting ready for the Kings games. I can't wait for that.
The Big West tournament does the same thing, which is where UC Davis is. So they play Wednesday here on Sacktown Sports. They play Wednesday in like a 6-5 game, but then they have to beat a 3-4 seed to then play the 1 or the 2 in the semifinal. So if you get a top 2 seed, you get a double bye to the semifinal.
Yeah, they want to be represented by the best, not some random hot team. And you know what? I don't really have a problem with it. But speaking of college basketball, you have Luke Laux, who is leaving the team early. And I don't know if I really understood this until I saw the clips of everyone congratulating him, and then he was gone. So Luke Laux is no longer with the team.
Yeah, he didn't coach last night.
He did not coach last night, and I don't know if everybody realized that. So we have a clip from Doug Christie, who last night was asked about that change and how he is handling that change, if you will, and maneuvering it. And this is what he had to say.
With Luke being gone now, are there any changes? Is anybody moving over to kind of oversee the defense in Luke's place?
I'm the head coach.
Okay. So no other changes.
I'm the head coach. Listen, when it all comes down to it, it's going to fall on my head. That's the bottom line. Since I took over, I've been doing a lot. So nothing really is changing. We'll be moving to the front of the bench when he comes back. Jim will be in the first seat once LB comes back. Other than that, it's going to be a group effort. Those guys get in there. I got my guys who I game plan with and come up with the game plan. And from there, when we get in there, it all falls on me. Bullets, knives, the whole nine.
Okay. So I'm not really sure what I can and cannot say here. All right. But I'm going to say this. There were some things that were mentioned. And I can say this because Carmichael Dave said it. There were some things mentioned going back to the De'Aaron Fox text gate, if you will, where De'Aaron said that Mike had conversations with people within the organization about moving on from certain assistant coaches. And Mike didn't want to do that. And names never got said. We don't know who those names are. But as we were breaking this down during the break, BYU's coach last season, he was an assistant coach with the Phoenix Suns. Okay, associate head coach of the Phoenix Suns. So, for example, Kevin Young continued his role with the Suns before he left for BYU. I looked it up. Florida State, they play tomorrow in the ACC tournament. Obviously, Luke Laux isn't going to coach with the Florida State Seminoles. They're not just going to pop up. So you could say he's getting a head start. Florida State could go on a run. What is the rush, if you will? So for Doug, I'm starting to put two and two together. And yeah, I'm going to say it. Some people got leapfrogged a little bit. Doug Christie was, the fourth on the bench. He leapfrogged to head coach.
Triano and Laux. Those were the two who got leapfrogged. Triano, by the way, who had been an interim head coach in the NBA before.
So that goes on. And Doug gets asked the question. That was Jason Anderson, by the way, who asked that question. Shout out Jason, friend of the show. And Doug goes on to say, I've been doing a lot. Now, if you say something like that, what does that infer? If someone says, yeah, they're here, but I've been doing a lot. I am not here to stir the pot, maybe just a little bit. But when you say I've been doing a lot, doesn't that kind of infer that person wasn't doing enough? Am I reaching here? Kyle, can we fire that up again if you have it? Am I completely reaching?
With Luke being gone now, are there any changes? Is anybody moving over to kind of oversee the defense in Luke's place?
I'm the head coach.
Okay. So no other changes.
I'm the head coach. Listen, when it all comes down to it, it's going to fall on my head. That's the bottom line. Since I took over, I've been doing a lot.
I'm just going to cut it there because I think that was kind of the meat and potatoes of what you were talking about, which it was just weird.
I've been doing a lot. Since I've been the head coach, I've been doing a lot. If I say, hey, since it's been my show, I've been doing a lot. Since I've been working this position, I've been doing a lot.
Since I took over as producer for the Allen Stiles Show, I've been doing a lot.
What does that infer? That infers that someone ain't doing their job or isn't doing enough because I am doing a lot.
all of it is so weird.
And he's out of here. He is gone.
So here's the other important context I should add. One, Luke Laux is Mike Brown's capital G guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke Laux was a video coordinator for the Warriors. That was his first job. He landed in Golden State when Mike Brown landed in Golden State as assistant coach. They were there together for 5 years. Laux went and spent 1 year with the Phoenix Suns, the year they won the championship, which, tough year to leave Golden State to go to Phoenix was the year they won the championship. And then Mike gets the job and he brings Luke Laux along as kind of his first in front of the bench coaching job in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So when Mike is gone, the presumption is Laux is probably not going to be returning because he was part of Mike Brown's staff of players. And maybe Doug hires him back, but the presumption is that. But then you add on Luke Laux, after Jordy left, became De'Aaron Fox's one-on-one coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then they traded De'Aaron Fox. And so it was like, okay, the coach that hired me is gone. The player I'd been working one-on-one with is gone.
Yes.
Where is my role here with the organization?
Yes. And at this point, you don't really feel, again, you're going to a different rank. You're going to college. So you don't really feel, hey, could this affect me? Whatever it is. It basically turns into, I don't think it's going to affect me because of everything that's already happened to me. If you look at college sports before the transfer portal, you all would get relief if your coach left, right? You don't owe anything to your school anymore. If your coach leaves, you can go to another school without sitting out a year. That's how it would typically work. Or if you were committed somewhere and that coach left, you could leave, right? Because now, hey, the person that promised you this stuff is now gone. So you can do what you need to do. As far as the Kings are concerned and Luke Laux, he feels like, hey, my whole connection to this unit is not there anymore. Doug, just because of awkwardness, Doug is not going to keep me around. I wouldn't keep me around because it is awkward. De'Aaron's gone. Mike Brown's gone. What else am I supposed to be doing here?
Well,
right? So that's pretty much where this thing has landed for Luke Laux. And on top of that, he doesn't feel like, hey, and maybe there was something, I don't know. Maybe there was something going on to where I don't really feel like you guys will be missing anything with me not here. We don't know the ins and outs of what was going on. What we do know is that in certain situations, we've seen a Kevin Young from the Suns leave for BYU and wait for the season to end, and you have Luke Laux saying, yeah, I'm just going to be out now and start recruiting or start my new process, whatever he wants to call it.
That's the part that was so weird about it, was the leaving. So the same weekend, this weekend, Utah fired their head coach, Craig Smith, and they hired Alex Jensen, who was a former player in the 90s, and he's on the bench with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, he obviously was hired by Jason Kidd, but, a lot's been going on in Dallas. I don't know if you've noticed.
Right.
And Alex Jensen, if you had to guess, is he staying or is he leaving?
He's probably staying.
He's staying.
Yeah.
And Kevin Young stayed. Obviously, the Suns were in a playoff run, but he stayed. What was weird about it was the leaving in the middle of the season. And I get it because they fired the coach mid-season. He wasn't going to be on the staff after the season. But the leaving in the middle of the season was the weirdest part of it. And I feel like Doug made it weirder with the response to the question that Jason Anderson asked.
Yeah, and that's why, people can say that it's the media stirring things up, whatever it is. And look, I have been known to maybe do that from time to time. But Doug, just literally goes, your typical coach speak here. Hey, Luke did a great job for us. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do there. We're really excited for him in Florida. But, for now, it was the whole I've been doing a lot, which was completely unnecessary. Like when I have arguments with my little sister about certain things, you know how to jab one another without actually being disrespectful, right? But if you know someone, hey, I know why you're saying this. That's essentially, if you say I've been doing a lot again, and that's how I kind of started this whole thing off, the whole thing could have been said without that. He wanted that to be out there. I don't know. No, we got to get to a break.
Well, yeah, the other part
side,
was just the outright dismissal of Jason's first question.
Right. Because it didn't even really answer the question. What Doug wanted to get off wasn't really answering Jason's question. He just wanted to get something off his chest, and that's what he did. He could have, if we listen to the actual question, are there any changes that are going to be made? I've been doing a lot. Okay, that's not what the question was. I've been doing a lot, by the way. Laux hasn't been doing his job. No, he didn't say that. I'm kidding. On the other side, we continue the conversation. We're still double checking to see if this 2-minute review or 2-minute report is out and whether it'll make us more mad or make us more mad. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Everyone has a past, but what happens if you've made mistakes and made good on that past, but it keeps following you? Are you looking for an attorney to erase past records and restore your rights? Maybe even restore your gun rights? Do you need a reputable criminal defense attorney who knows even good people make bad mistakes? Well, the attorneys at Gonzalez Law Office are here to help. Find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187. We don't settle for less, and neither should you.
If you've always wanted to be a part of that Jeep life, there's no better time than now than the 2025 Jeep Wrangler. And no one has a better selection than Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. The Jeep Wrangler has been unmatched in off-road capability for over 80 years. But being a Jeep owner, it's so much more than the performance on and off the road. It's a lifestyle. It's camaraderie. It's the versatility and the customization. The new Jeep Wrangler, it's better than ever. And you won't be able to find a better car buying experience or selection than at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-990-1551. That's 800-990-1551.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. It's cold, and American Energy wants you to stay warm and make sure your system's operating safely. Here's the deal. A $49 tune-up inspection, which is regularly $119. That's a full safety and duct inspection. But guess what? If your system's over 10 years old, the tune-up is on them. That's right. It's free. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. And if you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Oh, by the way, breaking news, they're hiring right now. Here's the deal. They'll train you. Full benefits, generous incentive-based pay. Just call today for more details at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Not only great deals from American Energy, but possibly a new career for you. Check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Let me break this down in a way I think more people would be able to understand, if you will. So, when it comes to a coaching staff, the chairs matter, right? And that's why you say, oh, he went from fourth chair to the head coach, okay? And, back in my tech days, or if you look at a business, if you will. So, there's a manager, an associate, an assistant manager, a director, all those different levels. If a senior manager who is under a director, right? If a senior manager is waiting out their time and the director moves on for whatever reason, it doesn't work out. So there's a director role open, right? That senior manager is thinking, well, I'm the closest thing to a director, so I think I should have a pretty good chance at this, okay? The company is not able to bring in anyone outside right now, so that senior manager is thinking, it's got to be me. Who else could you go with? So the senior manager is thinking that it's their time. Then all of a sudden, the company decides, yeah, we're actually going to elevate the assistant manager who kind of reports to you right now. So in a day, it goes from you being their boss to them being your boss. Now, I don't know how much of that translates to Luke Laux or Jay Triano asking Doug to do different things, but they were higher on the hierarchy list than Doug was. That gets changed as Mike Brown gets relieved of his duties, and now, Doug just jumped over us. So it's not going to be Jay Triano. It's not going to be Luke Laux. It's going to be Doug, who is further than us as far as the chairs are concerned. So just put yourself in Luke Laux's position or in Jay Triano's position. How would you feel? Because I've never really been leapfrogged like that. But I can tell you this much. It would tick me off. And you have to be as professional as possible. But you are looking, if you decide, okay, clearly this company doesn't look at me like a director, so I need to start looking elsewhere. And that's what Luke Laux did. It's that simple. They got leapfrogged.
So going back to January, when Leonard Hamilton, the longtime head coach at Florida State, he coached Luke Laux at Florida State. Mm-hmm. I think his best years actually were with Laux there. But when he announces his retirement, Luke Laux had been connected to that job for like 7 weeks. Mm-hmm. Florida State wasn't ready to start the hiring process yet, but as soon as he announced his retirement, there were reports like, hey, Luke Laux is the favorite to be the Florida State head coach. So this had been something that was at the very least in the works, whether it was his agent or whatever else, had been in the works for a while. What I think is really interesting is just the leaving now part of it. Right, like it makes all the sense in the world.
Right. No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they were gone regardless. Just like I said, a lot of times this stuff is just awkwardness, right? Sure. It's not even that. It would have been really interesting if Luke doesn't leave and the Kings make the playoffs, because then it's we've seen some success together. How does this work? Right. And we still might answer that question with those that are still on the staff, but we don't know how that's going to go. Let's say they lose or they get just ran in the first round. Now it's all right. This has kind of been awkward. We were just surviving. Doug can't find a new, you're not going to fire the whole staff in the midst of the season. We were just surviving and now we'll move forward. But the whole part of that is Luke Laux not feeling any, I don't want to say loyalty, but not feeling that it's necessary to at least, hey, I'm going to finish this out with my guys, right? Yeah. That to me, and you could say I'm reaching if you want. That's completely fine. We can agree to disagree. I'm not saying you, Kyle. I'm saying anybody.
Yeah.
We can agree to disagree. To me, that feels like a detachment from the team was already there. That's it.
Because I can't find a precedent where the coach just up and leaves in the middle of the season for another job, college or otherwise. Now, at the same time, I also can't find a situation where an assistant coach on a fired head coach's staff leaves to go take a college job in the middle of the season. So all of this is just very unprecedented.
Yeah.
So I will give that as like, oh, maybe there's nothing to it. But it's weird because that just doesn't happen. The weird part was he's taking the job, but he's also not staying.
When I first heard that he was taking the job, I didn't realize that he wasn't staying.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't realize that. Oh, because when they showed the first thing they showed during practice and everybody was talking and cool. And then I think the next media availability when somebody was posting still talking about it, I'm thinking, why are they still talking about it? I didn't realize he was out. We're congratulating him. Oh no, he's gone.
When the news broke on our show on Friday, we were there was a lot going on, but it broke in there. I don't think I realized either that he was going to be gone until I can't remember who it was said it definitively, like, this will be Luke Laux' last game. I was like, oh, okay, so this is happening right now.
And funny enough, not to fully connect the dots, but who was his last game against? De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
He just said, I'm out. I'm gonna say what's up to my boy De'Aaron, probably talk a little bit of trash about the organization, and then leave.
And Rasay tweeted out after, I think it was on Saturday, Rasay tweeted out, like, congratulations, Luke Laux. Looks like we're pulling up to Tallahassee this summer for some workouts. So
there you go.
This has been a whole to-do you could work around with. But I think Doug didn't do a good job of dispelling if there was anything. And I think
yes,
it is weird and worthy of question that a coach would just not just a coach, a defensive coordinator would up and leave in the middle of the season.
But that's the crazy thing, Kyle. That wasn't Jason's question. That wasn't even, Jason didn't even, it wasn't even a gotcha. It wasn't even Jason saying, hey, Doug, kind of interesting. Can you speak to why Luke Laux didn't finish? He didn't even ask that.
No, he just
said who is replacing him, and Doug said, I'm doing a lot. Dang it, Jason, I'm trying. I'm doing a lot.
Did he hear Luke Laux and just went into like, I gotta get this off my chest?
That's not even what Jason asked.
Because he just dismissed the question outright, which is the strangest part of it.
916 says, and I should have read this a bit earlier, but 916 says, was that question an implication that Luke, or maybe that answer, that Luke and Jay are the ones coaching the team versus Doug? Yeah, I don't think so. 916. I think if anything, there might have been some weird. Again, this is all awkward. Let's go back to the business comparison, right? Hey, if I got leapfrogged in that position and I'm the senior manager, the director saying, hey, Allen, I know you normally do this. Are you going to keep doing this, or am I going to do this? Yeah, I don't know, man. Whatever you want to do. And I'm not saying this is Luke Laux. I'm saying that I'm salty, and that probably would have been, yeah, man. If that's what you want to do, you're the boss, So there are situations where ultimately it's just best if both sides move forward. Did Luke Laux have to move forward right now? I don't know, but according to him, that's what he felt like he had to do.
And it's pretty unprecedented.
Yeah.
All of it is unprecedented, I want to acknowledge again, but it's pretty unprecedented to have someone that high up on a bench just straight up leave in the middle of a playoff run.
Yeah. Kings Knicks preview. We have hit the 1 o'clock hour. Let's break it all down. And am I going to say the two words that I never say? I might have to. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake
Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And if you love animals, you're part of our world. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Meanwhile at Xfinity. Okay, huddle up. Do you realize how many fans stream basketball? It's madness.
But real fans stream with Xfinity Internet.
Totally. We've engineered the fastest connection.
With reduced buffering and low lag.
'Cause making streaming better is what we do!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Can we let go now? It's really not a huddle with two people.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and stream live sports from the best seat in the house. Bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Actual speed vary, not guaranteed.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and vocal.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
About to get into our Kings Knicks preview. I was double checking. Kyle, still no 2-minute report, huh? Cowards.
Nothing.
Cowards.
It usually gets released sometime between noon and 2, I looked up.
Cowards. Jalen Brunson out for the Knicks. And we're waiting to hear about Malik Monk. I don't think Malik Monk is going to play, but it is day to day. We know Domantas Sabonis won't play, but we're trying to see what the deal is with one Malik Monk. 916-339-1140. Let's go to Louie. He wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Louie? What you got for us?
What's going on? Happy Monday, guys. Happy Monday.
Same to you. Same to you. What's up?
Hey, man, I wanted to call in and maybe get your opinion on something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I got, but before I ask this or say this, because I don't want to sound like a hater, but I got love for anyone that's part of the Kings organization. But I got to say, there's something when I'm watching these games that's sticking out to me about our broadcasting team. It seems like it's just been poor this year. I got love for my man Drapes, specifically really talking about Katie, man. It just seems like she's been wrong on so many things, and it's time and time again. It's just I just had to voice that because I'm on King's Twitter. A lot of people are on there saying the same thing. Wish we could make some improvement in that area, man. That's all I got to say. I'll take it offline.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Louie. Yeah, obviously both one part of our station and another great friends of the show, specifically Carmichael Dave's show with Jason Ross. Both of them have been doing it for years. Both of them the consummate professionals. And look, anybody can, you're all allowed to have your opinion, right? I mean, you can agree with what some of them say. You can disagree with what they say. Maybe they're your cup of tea. Maybe they're not. I can't really speak to that, right? I mean, we have our radio broadcast. We don't even have the TV broadcast, but you're entitled to your opinion. I don't really have any feelings on it or feelings that I'm going to share. A lot of times I'm running around with toddler styles anyway, so I can't really hear too much, but I think they all do a great job, but that doesn't mean that you're not entitled to your opinion, and you can call in and give it anytime you like. So thanks for that. Louie. Great stuff as always. All right, Kyle, as we get into our Kings-Knicks preview, the Kings, yeah, it's going to be tough. Let's go back to the minutes that were played last night, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm fairly sure because I was all over all the games from yesterday. The Knicks did not play. The last game, Knicks haven't played since Friday.
Yeah, we talked about that. They had the back-to-back where
right.
We needed the Clippers we needed them to come through for us, and they did not.
Right, and they lose Jalen Brunson against the Lakers on Thursday. They lose by 10 to the Clippers, and now they have the Kings tonight. And you know what? To be completely honest, not to be disrespectful to the Kings, but you know that the Knicks, unfortunately, are probably looking at the Kings thinking, look, if we're missing Jalen, we'll take it. Obviously, we're not calling the Kings the Hornets, but this is a game we maybe could sneak out of with the win. We match up pretty darn well. So we'll go on. We'll take that opportunity, right? And the Kings are probably thinking the same thing. We'll take an opportunity to face the Knicks without Jalen Brunson because they have had our number. So these are two teams. If you're thinking the Knicks are going to walk in here and lay down, I think you are mistaken. Now, I don't know who creates for them without Jalen Brunson. I didn't watch Knicks Clippers, but obviously they didn't win that game. So I don't know how that actually all works. But I would say that the Knicks, seeing that the Knicks have the Kings tonight and the Blazers on Wednesday, who have cooled off. They were red hot. They cooled off before they have the Warriors on Saturday. And, it's 2 weeks. So, yeah, they wouldn't have Jalen Brunson back for that. They're definitely looking to get one of these, and they're probably thinking we can mess around and get both of these.
All right, so let's play a little game here. If you had to guess, who do you think took the most shots for the Knicks against the Clippers on Friday? It's not a trick question.
Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes, Karl. So
yeah.
Karl took 21. Second on the team was 15. This person went 4 for 15 from the field.
This guy's been pretty aggressive. I'm going to guess OG Anunoby.
Yes.
Yeah.
OG Anunoby, 4 for 15 from the field, 2 for 8 from the three-point line. Next up, this person took the third most on the team was 13 shots. He went 2 for 13 from the field and 2 for 9 from the three-point line.
Mikal Bridges?
Not Mikal Bridges.
Miles McBride?
Yes, it was Miles McBride, 2 for 13 from the field. He was chucking all right.
Look, all I care about is if Josh Hart is playing. Because that dude is going to – he has a triple-double every time against the Kings.
Yeah, Josh Hart is going to play tonight. The only person on the injury report is Brunson, and one of those two-way players who's been out all season. So, I think you're going to see a lineup of Miles McBride, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Karl Anthony Towns. In the last game, they only ran 3 guys off the bench. It was Landry Shamet, it was Precious Achiuwa, and Cam Payne.
I'm just double checking here because Josh Hart, it's just ridiculous. I mean, each and every game against the Kings has just been nuts. And that's who I'm worried about, Kyle. You know, I understand you're not going to have Jalen Brunson, and you should win this game, but I'm trying to find it here. He had about, 12 rebounds last game?
Yes, I have the stats here. So his last 2 games against the Kings. Wow, actually, I'm just going to hold on a second. Fill for 2 seconds for me while I look this up.
Well, I know what you're looking up is about Josh Hart, and you had 44 minutes from DeMar DeRozan, 47 minutes, which is insane, from Keegan Murray.
All right, so as a New York Knick, Josh Hart, in his last 2 games against the Sacramento Kings, has scored 51 points, grabbed 27 rebounds, and had 19 assists. In 4 games as a Knick playing against the Kings, he's averaging 17 points, 14 rebounds a game, and 7.3 assists.
I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Last year, he put up 31 in that game where famously Keon Ellis got caught whoopsieing on the Jalen Brunson. He put up 31, 9, and 8. In their first game this year, he put up 20, 18, and 11.
Yeah. Rough stuff. So he's playing tonight. I do feel like whatever he does offensively is because of Jalen Brunson. So obviously I'm not really that worried about Josh Hart as the scorer. But
be careful, Stiles.
But getting the offensive rebounds and kicking out to a Mikal Bridges or Karl Anthony Towns or OG Anunoby's really turned it on offensively. I've randomly watched a good amount of Knicks games. They've popped up and been in times where I'm randomly able to watch, and I like what I'm seeing from OG offensively. He's really starting to evolve there. And right now, OG, if you look at their options right now, OG, I told you this, Kyle, a couple weeks ago, I was watching them, and they opted to sit Mikal Bridges for Miles McBride. So Mikal Bridges in a fourth quarter, he did not get any run in an overtime game where I believe they beat the Miami Heat. So OG Anunoby, when it comes to the options, the scoring options, is firmly at number 3 on that list, which might say something about this team as a whole, but expect a good amount of OG Anunoby tonight, along with obviously Karl Anthony Towns, who I don't know what the heck Karl Anthony Towns versus Jonas Valanciunas is going to look like.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, especially with Jonas Valanciunas in this weird kind of hybrid point center role that he's kind of playing now for them, which we were going to talk about earlier, but I guess now is a good time. Like Valanciunas, did you guys know in the last 3 games, so that's the Denver game, the Spurs game, and now the Clippers game last night, Jonas Valanciunas had 6 or more assists in each of those 3 games. That's the first time in his entire career he's had 6 assists in 3 straight games.
Yeah.
He's had 3 of his top 10 assist games of his entire career in the last 3 games, and he's averaging like 12 rebounds a game. So Valanciunas, they're essentially asking him to play point center.
Yeah.
Which is super fascinating that instead of changing the offense to accommodate Sabonis being out, they're asking Valanciunas to integrate into what they're doing on offense. And if he is going to play point center from the top of the key, that's going to pull Karl out, and that's going to open up a lot of stuff they want to do with Levine back cuts and DeRozan creating space and things like that.
Yeah, I worry about foul trouble tonight with Jonas Valanciunas. Karl, he screams, he yells, he is kind of awkward the way he moves. So I worry if Jonas Valanciunas, this is not the center where, you feel good at nearly 7 feet this is not the center that you feel good about. Okay, well, we have Trey Lyles because of Jonas Valanciunas being in foul trouble. This is not the time for that. So yeah, it'll be pretty interesting to see how all of that shakes out. You have the Kings coming off a tough game. They had to get on the flight. They probably got on the plane at, I don't know. At least the game was at 6:30. So probably got on the plane pretty late. At least they get to come back home in that regard. But
it's kind of like a road back to back because you had to fly to Sacramento.
Exactly. So this is a game where in a different situation, maybe you don't need it. But yeah, I'm going to say what I never say because we are under the 20 game mark and people are still talking about moral victories here. This is a must win. I mean, it wouldn't have been a must win if you won last night, but it would have been a really nice to have with no Jalen Brunson. You get to play the Knicks with no Jalen Brunson, especially after the game that you dropped last night. You have to win it.
So is there something in between a must win and a really nice to have?
No, I don't think so.
Those are the two barometers. So last night was a really nice to have, but tonight is a must win now because you didn't have the last
you didn't get you didn't get either of the nice to haves.
But if they won one of the nice to haves, would tonight be a really nice to have game, or would it be a take advantage game?
Maybe it changes now because of Jalen Brunson being out. But all we know is that if you want any hope of staying away from the 9 seed, you have to start taking advantage of these opportunities. And yeah, it is still an opportunity even if you're missing Domantas Sabonis and Malik Monk. If you get to play the Knicks, who are very Jalen Brunson centric without Jalen Brunson, you got to take care of business. Injury report on the other side, and we continue to break down who the Knicks are in net rating, offensive rating, and defensive rating. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
From Folsom Mike, have either of you seen that video review when a shot clock malfunctions? Nope, because yesterday's rigged game was the first. Yeah, a lot of people are chiming in, and again, this is something I don't want to get into, but we gave Louis an opportunity. We gave Louis a platform, and I'm not going to come down Louis's road because I'm not going to sit here and, if somebody has an opinion, and he didn't say anything that was disrespectful to either Kyle or Katie, in my opinion, there was no name calling. He just said he hasn't really jived lately with what is, with the broadcast, and that it's not. I'm not going to ring you up for that if you do it in a way that, again, he's not, name calling, anything like that. He just said, I'm not really feeling it. Again, we have our own broadcast on the radio, so you can take that up with NBC Sports, Louis. That really has nothing to do with our show or our setup. But I did want to say, I'm not going to read off all the texts, but yeah, Louis, as far as Twitter is concerned, maybe you're seeing something that, like, these jobs, and I can speak to this, from the radio perspective. You might hear 5 minutes of me and feel the way you feel about me. You might hear 2 hours of me and feel the way you feel about me. That's all your opinion, right? You can express your opinion respectfully. You can express your opinion disrespectfully. That's fine, right? These are jobs that it kind of comes with the territory. We hope that you do things respectfully, but we understand when it doesn't happen in that way as well. With all that being said, Louis, you are getting absolutely fried on the text line. Absolutely fried. A lot of people are coming to the defense of Katie, coming to the defense of Kyle, and that those are their opinions, right? So a lot of people are saying, Louis, you're tripping. I have one that I will read. It says, like Will Smith, Louis, keep Katie's name out your mouth. That's from the 209. So, people can run in different circles. I do think that with some of these jobs, you're not going to make everybody happy. Everybody's going to complain. Katie knows that. Kyle Draper knows that. And I'm not going to, again, you do it respectfully. You're entitled to your opinion. Like I said, we have a radio broadcast. If it was about G-Man or whoever, it would make more sense because that's connected to the station. We have nothing to do with the TV broadcast. All right. So, but I appreciate everybody chiming in with their opinions, whether they agree with Louis or not. And a lot of people are disagreeing, and that's all fine and good. We can all do it respectfully, and everyone has pretty much kept things inside the line. So I appreciate that. I knew we could do this, people. I knew we could do this. All right. As we figure out if the Kings can do this or not as far as get a W against the New York Knicks. The Knicks since February 1st, 21st in net rating, 20th in offensive rating, 22nd in defensive rating. So even with Jalen Brunson, they have not been really anything to write home about. They just play in the East, and I think that is a big thing here. This was the year that the Knicks, are trying to find their way. It's win now, but Mikal Bridges, to me, has kind of replaced or been a cautionary tale, if you will, for Cam Johnson. Because if I'm not mistaken, Mikal Bridges a little bit younger than Cam Johnson, but kind of similar. Mikal Bridges not really going to win too many games for you. That whole thing happened where he completely forgot how to shoot a basketball, and the Knicks are sitting all alone in third place in the third seed. They're 4 games ahead of the Bucks, but they are 5.5 games behind the Celtics. So the Knicks are in a pretty good spot to deal with the injury to Jalen Brunson, and I truly don't know what to do with them. I don't necessarily think that anybody in the East fears them as far as, they have all these different weapons, as they were kind of deemed the first super team with a bunch of role players, the first role player super team, and that's basically who they've been, right? And they have Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, they're not role players. Both of them have been in MVP conversations, but they just don't make a ton of sense. 8-7 over their last 15 games, but no egregiously bad losses. They lost 2 to the Celtics, 2 to the Lakers, and the one in overtime, you lose Jalen Brunson. I don't think they were going to win that game anyway. They lost at Cavs, and they lost to the Warriors. The Warriors visited them, but they had no Karl Anthony Towns in that game. Then they lose to the Clippers, and they had no Jalen Brunson. So They've won the games that they've. Are the Knicks the team with that crazy record against? They are the team. They have it. They don't beat good teams.
Yeah, I think they are 0-7 against the top 3 teams in the East, I want to say. I can't remember exactly what the stat was, but you're right. They have no wins against teams with a better record than them or something like that.
Right. They haven't beat the Cavs. Nothing against the Celtics. So
to your point, actually, Cam Johnson is older than Mikal Bridges.
Right, which kind of makes sense to me. And he wouldn't go for 4 or 5 first rounders, but Mikal Bridges kind of got he kind of got elevated, and I think we all forgot once he went to Brooklyn what he actually is.
I was going to say, but it's only by 4 months.
Okay.
So they're basically the same age.
So they're the same age.
They're the same age.
That's crazy.
They were both number 10 picks in the draft, and both were role players on that Phoenix Suns team that almost won a championship. So, yeah, they're basically the same player of background. I'm not saying they're the same player in the NBA, but
and the Nets are so greedy. They're trying to get the same haul for Mikal Bridges that they did for Cam Johnson.
As they should.
You could make the argument that Cam Johnson's actually better than Mikal Bridges.
This year, you can. I'm not going to, but you can.
So
they gave up 6 draft picks for him. If you count first rounders and pick swaps, they gave up 6 picks. And what's crazy is they still have like 6 more, but they just gave up 6. Someone made a great observation, which is like nobody is more dangerous than a team that just lost in the second round that thinks they're one player away.
Yeah.
No one is more of a danger to themselves than that exact team. It's what just happened to the Knicks. It's what I think what just happened to the Bucks when they traded for Damian Lillard and gave the Celtics a championship. It's a great point.
On the other side, I'm just checking one more time here. Still nothing from that 2-minute report, but we have the injury report that we will break down on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-902-5454. 800-902-5454.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the A to Z savings event at AutoZone.
Yeah, happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with the rotors.
Free. Really?
Really, free.
Okay, I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah, how much is that?
Free with 5 quarts of oil.
Free? Really?
Really, free. It's part of the A to Z savings event.
You might as well call it A to free.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Spring is in the air, and that means gigantic savings for all your oil change needs at Jiffy Lube today. Get a $25 gift card with the purchase of any Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change through May 31st at your local Jiffy Lube service center in the greater Sacramento areas. And don't forget about the additional $30 off online coupon at jiffylube.com. Terms apply. Valid email address required. See pennzoil.com/rewards for details. Jiffy Lube, huge spring savings for you today.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Tom's Watch Bar has the best happy hour in Sacramento, starting with $5 specials all day, every day, plus select $7 appetizers and $12 entrees, with 360-degree viewing and game day vibes that match being at the game. Tom's Watch Bar is the ultimate game day experience for sports fans.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Save Mart and McKee Brothers Plumbing and Rooter Incorporated. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
We rely heavily on our HVAC systems during the cold valley winters and hot valley summers.
That's why there are so many HVAC companies out there. So when you need a new system or a tune-up, where do you turn? I turned to Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Once our heater checked out, we checked in at leesair.com. The entire experience exceeded our high expectations. You want prompt service from people who know what they're doing, can save you money, and will treat you right? For your HVAC needs, Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, on the web at leesair.com. Ask about their $99 HVAC tune-up service, license number 635355.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m., 30 more minutes with ya. RJ Alexander on the Sack Chat says, at Styles Files, do you have a take on the videos posted of Monk and Risset after the Spurs game? Looked like somebody was checking someone. RJ, I do not. I do not.
We do not care.
I do not. I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. I do, but I will not be sharing them on the airwaves because we're moving. Doesn't really matter. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. But yeah, that clip was floating around.
I am proud of you that you did not talk about that at all today.
Well, luckily the Kings blew the game last night, so there was plenty to talk about there.
And they have a game tonight.
Three
games at once, and we decided that the De'Aaron Fox return was the one that went by the wayside, and I think we made a good decision.
Yeah, they won the game. They took care of business. If you haven't seen that video, it's the post-game. Looks like a spirited conversation between Risset and Malik, but they've known each other for so long. Who knows? But it did make the rounds, and we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. 916-339-1140. Couple more segments with you if you want to be a part of the conversation. How are you feeling about the Sacramento Kings? You think they're going to get it done tonight, whether or not Domantas Sabonis or Malik Monk play? Now, we know that Domantas Sabonis will not be playing. We do not know about Malik Monk quite yet. And apparently Jay Crowder is they're actually saying that, are all you Jay Crowder people happy now? He's out with the back, so now we know because he's been wearing that back heater for the last 2 months or so. Jalen Brunson, the big name, out for the Knicks, so it will be a lot of Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby. And I hope I'm not talking all this trash about Mikal Bridges just for him to actually go off. Now, I think the only way he kills you is if you let Josh Hart get 8,000 offensive rebounds and kick it to open three-point shooters. Defensively, I do think it's going to be tough because you look at these matchups and you'll probably have Mikal Bridges on Zach LaVine, and you will have OG Anunoby on DeMar DeRozan, or I guess maybe Keegan, right? Something like that.
So who are you saying for Josh Hart?
Josh Hart, they're probably going to put – Josh Hart is either on DeMar DeRozan. It's either OG what I'm thinking is maybe they just do OG and Keegan. Maybe they match up together and Josh Hart is on DeMar DeRozan. I'm not sure.
So here's kind of my 2 cents on all of this. The Knicks are one of the most interesting teams in the NBA because people think that Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby are good defenders. They're not. They've been not good defenders this year.
Maybe this year specifically.
This year specifically, they have not been good defenders. So I would guess Josh Hart is going to match up on whoever you want to pick as the number one guy. And they might just play it straight up position to position. Like Bridges is kind of playing the 2 now a lot of the time for them.
Right.
So I guess Bridges on
Zach,
Levine.
yeah.
And then I guess you would put Josh Hart on DeRozan. I don't know. Which one do you think has a better chance of staying in front of DeRozan and maybe not fouling? But
you know what's so interesting when it comes to DeMar DeRozan and how other teams view him? When you look at the tough shots that get made, I think what's interesting is DeMar DeRozan could be on an absolute heater, and I could probably count on one hand, maybe 2 hands, the amount of times that DeMar DeRozan has been doubled, right? It's no matter how hot DeMar DeRozan is, the way he plays basketball is just a way that other teams live with. I've never really seen DeMar DeRozan doubled, regardless of how hot he gets, because they still feel like, you know what, we're gonna play the numbers, and if he wants to take contested mid-ranges over and over again, and we lose that way, we'll live with it. And guess what? A lot of these better teams, the non-Hornets and non-Pelicans, they're not losing. They're not losing. DeMar DeRozan could be hotter than fish grease, to go the Mark Jones route, and you do not see doubles. You don't see them. They'll just live with it. You know what? We're just going to play the averages, and eventually either we're going to make enough threes that the contested 2s aren't going to matter, or he's going to cool off at some point. And it works.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what the strategy is because a double team. I mean, the Mavericks threw a double team at him, and he stepped through it and hit the shot.
Well, that was the last play of the game, though.
Right.
I'm saying throughout the course of the game.
But I feel like he's just going to draw fouls in that situation, which, you know, I guess you live with it.
The Nuggets just ate the Jamal Murray thing. They just ate it. They said, you know what? It's fine. It's not the first time Jamal's been targeted. If they want to keep, so you have the Kings. Everyone's okay with it, right?
Yeah.
The Kings, hey, we're just going to keep exploiting this. The Nuggets saying, we're not going to change anything, and the Nuggets won.
This is not the reason why, but I want to just explore it for a second because I think it would be the most funny outcome. So do you remember that, I think it was Kevin Pelton or Brian Windhorst or someone was breaking down the offseason transactions. They were like, consensus around the league is DeMar DeRozan, great player, but not conducive to winning anymore.
Right.
Do you think these teams are kind of like, he can do whatever he wants as long as he's shooting long 2s?
I'd honestly feel like that.
They're just like, it doesn't matter. As long as he can't shoot 3s, he's not going to beat us.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy if that is. I mean, again, I just want to do this for the fun of it all. But if it's like, why aren't they throwing double teams? What if every team is like, oh, that's fine. Do your little step back 2 thing. We're fine.
That's literally it, though, because if he was somebody that can drive to the basket, when you look at guys that get doubled, right? Yes, it's elite scorers, but it's also elite passers. So you want to get the ball out of Luka's hands because Luka could get to the rack, touch paint, and kick out to somebody else. You know that it's a vortex. The ball, it is a vortex once DeMar gets it. So you don't have to send a double because you don't have to worry about other people being out of position. You don't have to worry about other players getting hot off a double. Once he gets into his office, you're just going to live with the 2 because we're probably taking more 3s. And by the way, yesterday the Kings actually did. Oh, by the way, 53s a game. The Kings had 34 last night. And they were 9 of 34. They shot 25%. The Clippers only shot 31 threes, but they did get to the Mendoza line of 3-point shooting. Yeah. They shot it at 32%.
But if you look at just Harden and Kawhi, I think they were like 4 for 18.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful. They were 4 for 18, 1 of 7 from Kawhi, 3 of 11 from James Harden.
So if you look at it from that standpoint, and this goes back to the conversation we were kind of having earlier, but I think we ran out of time with Keegan growing into the number 3, which is this is the last stop of DeMar DeRozan's career. He's going to be a number 1 or a number 2 scoring option on a team. right? I don't see the team he's going to go to where that would change, because he's done it in San Antonio,
right?
Who was on their way to rebuilding. He's done it now in Chicago, and yes, they made the playoffs one year, but the last 2 years in Chicago, they were on the path to rebuilding. And he's doing it in Sacramento, where now he's the number one, which I don't know what to do with that, as DeRozan is the number one go-to scoring option. But it's also unique because they play with Sabonis, who's the best player on the team, but he's like the number 3 scoring option.
Yeah.
So if this is the last destination for him being a number 1 or a number 2, his game is going to have to evolve at whatever the next stop is going to be, whether that's next year's Kings team or it's whatever team he plays on next. His game is going to have to evolve at some point. I don't think that's going to happen this year with the Kings, because they've already made their bed. They got to sleep in it for the rest of the season. But wherever his next stop is going to be, it's going to be interesting to see how his game evolves.
The reality is DeMar DeRozan is coming off of someone's bench next season. That is the best version of DeMar DeRozan. It's coming off someone's bench with one role, right? You're playing with maybe some younger guys that are still trying to find their way, or if he's on a championship team. I do think now you have to look at it from the standpoint, and I don't know if it's an egregious enough contract to be, oh, we can't bring this guy off the bench. I think that if you are a Los Angeles Lakers, if you are a Los Angeles Clippers, right, team, and I don't know what these money amounts, with the cap situation is for these teams, but DeMar DeRozan coming off of someone's bench is probably a championship team. But DeMar DeRozan as someone's first, second option is probably it's the Sacramento Kings. We know what it is. So
it's the San Antonio Spurs of 2021, it's the Chicago Bulls of 2023, and it's the Sacramento Kings of 2025. That's what it is at this point. He's been doing it for 6 years, I think. But I think if he goes to a championship contender, he's going to have to be a number 4 scoring option. But there's somewhere in between Sacramento and a championship contender. If he went to Indiana, no, let's make it this Knicks team. If he went to this Knicks team, if they flipped him for OG Anunoby, I don't think you'd have to say he has to come off the bench. I just think you would say he's a number 3 or 4.
Right, because they have enough. In theory, they have enough from the defensive end where you can legitimately not just hide him, but you don't have to put him in situations that he probably shouldn't be in. But we have all the time in the world to get to the future of the Kings. The reality is this is a must win tonight for Sacramento, as they are looking to get back on the winning side of things. Another game against an actual opponent and another loss. And I know it sounds harsh to say it that way, but there's just not a lot of wins to choose from this Kings team once you remove the Pelicans and what's left of the Mavericks and teams like that. They get up against teams where, they actually have 2 scorers on their team, or they have a legit big or a facilitator or a good coaching staff, and they have not been able to get it done. The Rockets, to this point, they had 2 opportunities to have the best win of the interim beam team era, the Rebeam team. They had 2 opportunities, the Nuggets game and the Clippers game. To me, both those games would have been better wins than what is the best win so far, which is the Rockets game, which that was a huge game, but that's the only thing that we have to pull from right now as far as, well, how do I know that this team is going to win at a high level against actual opponents? Well, yeah, the Rockets game and
that double overtime win against the Mavericks.
And that Mavericks game. Mavericks game, which I guess because Kyrie did play in that.
Yes, someone might have been out for the Kings also. But yeah, tonight's a very good opportunity, which, to follow up on our conversation earlier before we got sidetracked, did you know Mikal Bridges is the 2nd worst defender on that team? If you look at the D LeBron ratings for all 15 players.
No, Kyle, I did not catch the D LeBron rating.
He is worse. He is a worse defender than Landry Shamet and Campaign. That is crazy. Mikal Bridges, who they traded 6 draft picks for, and the only person he's worse than is Jalen Brunson, who just can't guard anybody.
Look, defense slumps too, right? That's a thing. Not sure if it is. On the other side, one more segment with your Prop Talk Dog segment. We asked the question, at what point do you try something different? What's that term again? The definition of what is doing the same thing over and over again? Let's talk about it on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sackdown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Meanwhile at Xfinity.
Okay, huddle up. Do you realize how many fans stream basketball? It's madness.
But real fans stream with Xfinity Internet.
Totally. We've engineered the fastest connection.
With reduced buffering and low lag.
'Cause making streaming better is what we do!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Can we let go now? It's really not a huddle with two people.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and stream live sports from the best seat in the house. Bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Actual speed vary. Not guaranteed.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery from the law firm of Gingery, Hammer and Associates. When you have been injured by the fault of another, you will want advice you can trust. If you know an attorney you can trust, I hope you call that person. But if you don't, please call me. I promise I will be the attorney you can trust, along with my entire team. I have been helping accident survivors recover compensation for their injuries for 25 years, and we can help you. There is no charge for calling. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Hence 4-5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-902-5454. 800-902-5454.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today.
Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Save $10,250 off MSRP on new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT after rebates at the Meta Chevy Silverado Super Center. $10,250 off. New Silverado at MetaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Mustang 2011 or newer Chevrolet.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
So I'm on one of the apps for a little bit of prop talk coming up, and Malik Monk is on the app for whatever it's worth. And let's not forget, these apps now, they all have writers and journalists and, and news breakers.
Journalists.
Underdog, they'll always break news. So I don't know if, now again, we've seen it where they don't know and this person will just disappear. But as of right now, Malik Monk, if you're feeling spicy, you can get Malik Monk 16.5 points. If you now again, he doesn't play and you won't lose your cheddar, but he will get kind of crossed out.
Here we go. We have an update from Frankie Cardicelli just 10 minutes ago.
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
Kings guard Malik Monk toe sprain is not listed on the injury report tonight.
Wow.
Against the New York Knicks.
The return of Malik Monk. Now, funny enough. Malik Monk being in, I'm here, and the line, the Knicks are favored by 2. So I don't know if that is about to change. I know, Kyle, you mentioned that these guys their legs are going to be dead, but yeah, I agree with you, but Malik Monk, I mean, coming off injury, but he's going to be the freshest one. So,
and he's going to be guarded by Miles McBride.
Yeah.
Or Campaign, who apparently is a plus defender this season, which I'm shocked to see he's a plus defender.
Campaign got to be top 5 ugliest jump shots in the history of the league.
I thought you were going somewhere else there, but I was like, Jesus.
No. He turns his whole, because he's a lefty too, but he turns his whole body. It is so ugly. I just don't believe it's going in.
10-year NBA veteran with that ugly jump shot.
Right. And what's crazy is, not that we're going to do a campaign segment, but it felt like he didn't even play the first 3 years of his career. He just rode pine in was it Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Wherever he was he was there to dance with Russell Westbrook before games and then got traded and started playing.
Yeah, where did he go after that? Because
he was in Phoenix for a bit.
Well, he went overseas, I think, during the pandemic year, and then Phoenix signed him mid-season. He was a rotation player on the team that went to the finals.
Yeah,
or maybe it was the bubble that he came back. I can't. It was either bubble was when he blew up, or right after the bubble was when he came back. But he started balling with someone in between it. I'm confusing him with Reggie Jackson a little too.
So he will get a look at it tonight, but Malik Monk will be playing, which is huge for the Kings.
That's right. He was out there in Chicago for a little bit.
That's right. So Kyle, before we get into prop talk, actually, I did want to say this though, as I kind of joked about the definition of insanity. And we will see what happens with Malik Monk back in the fold. But we've also seen the same thing happen with Domantas Sabonis and Malik Monk playing. What do you think it's going to take, Kyle? You made my ears perk up when you said the Kings have made their bed and they have to sleep in it as far as the DeMar DeRozan thing. But I also kind of feel like that's not totally true. Some of that is them just deciding it. I mean, them deciding and me asking that question to Doug Christie and Doug Christie deciding, hey, we're just going to live with DeMar DeRozan essentially anytime he wants to shoot. You're not winning games. You're competitive in games, but you're not winning these games. So I just wonder with 19 games left, maybe to your point, hey, there's 19 games left. We just are who we are. Or is there one more small tweak in there that they can make to actually win some of these close games?
So here's why I say they've made their bed, they have to sleep in it, is that the only way to correct that now is find me 2 offensive players on the Kings with better offensive game than DeMar DeRozan.
But I just think it's just about choosing your spots as well, though. You go to the DeMar DeRozan well when you need to. They're going to it far too often.
I don't think it's necessarily an efficiency thing. I think right now it's out of necessity because Domantas Sabonis is not playing. I don't know if that's fair for better or for worse. Maybe at times, because maybe you could argue at times there will be nights where DeMar DeRozan can be a number 3 because Domantas Sabonis and Zach LaVine will be in their offensive bags.
And by the way, Zach LaVine took 2 more shots than DeMar last night. Didn't feel like it, but that's what happened.
Because of those crazy, interesting rotations that Doug Christie is doing where he played Zach and Keon 12 minutes in the first and third quarters and then played DeRozan and Keegan the entire second and fourth quarters. It's like he couldn't take any of them off the floor at any point, which I get it. You don't have Malik and Sabonis, but it was interesting rotation choices. Mm-hmm. I think DeMar DeRozan is a really good basketball player, right? I'm just saying that this team chose to go out of the trade deadline with a big 3 of Sabonis, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan. And of that group, more nights than not, DeMar DeRozan is going to be your number 1 or number 2 scoring option because he's one of the 2 best offensive players on the team.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a tweak here or there, and will the tweak ever will the tweak ever happen? Because at the end of the season, who knows? DeMar might say, hey, I want to move on somewhere else. All right, we got to move on. So let's get to the prop talk conversation, which is red hot. We've been doing our thing lately. I can't even lie. 916 says ball doesn't move when DeMar is scoring. Yeah, I think that's part of it, and why we haven't been seeing a lot of doubles, even when DeMar is quote unquote cooking. Well, Kyle, I'm going to take the easy option because you got to go before it changes, and it's probably about to change. This is all day, brother. I mean, you can get Malik Monk at 16.5 when everyone else is. I think the big thing, and I would still take him at 17, but you can get him at 16.5 right now. I think the big thing is all the minutes that have been played. So I just don't feel comfortable I definitely don't feel comfortable taking DeMar DeRozan. I don't feel comfortable taking any of these guys who have been playing high minutes. I'm taking Malik Monk at 16.5. I might be falling for a trap here, but I think that's it's almost too obvious.
Is that 16.5 points or 16.5 field goal attempts?
It's 16.5 points, and it might be too obvious, but he wasn't even set at 16 before the injury, and I know he struggled. He's averaging 13.6 over his last 5. I'm going to take the bait. I'm going to take Malik Monk over 16.5.
Yeah, that one's kind of a funky one because you're right. Isn't it too obvious to say, well, he's just going to come out and shoot because all of these guys' legs are going to be completely drained from the last 3 games? We'll see. I don't know if I love that strategy, but for better or for worse, this might be a Malik Monk game. So how much how high would the number have to go for you to take under on Josh Hart rebounds?
To take under?
For you to pick under, how high would you have to get? He's averaging 14 since he joined the New York Knicks against the Kings.
Yeah, I mean, I would take under 12.5 and pray. That's what I would do.
Right now it's set at 10.5, so
I'm not touching that.
I think you're just locking in a double-double.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he'll score, but he's getting 10. That's the thing, 10.5. I could see him being stuck at 10, but he's getting 10 rebounds.
So you've got him doing the Clint Capella where he should have like the most double-doubles in the NBA, but he never gets to 10 points.
Yeah, I don't see Josh Hart scoring as much as he's been scoring against the Kings without the help of Jalen Brunson. So, but the rebounds, I'm not touching the rebounds. I've just seen him destroy the Kings on the glass far too often.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's very funny. My prop talk for today, I am going to go deep in the weeds on something I brought up earlier, which is the Sacramento Kings are playing Jonas Valanciunas essentially like a point center, which I think is fascinating because that's never been his game.
Right.
He had 7 assists on Sunday against the Clippers. That's the second most he's had in his entire career. He's had 6+ assists in each of their last 3 games, and he's had 3 of his top 10 assist games of his entire career in the last 3 games, filling in for Domantas Sabonis. So this is super in the weeds, but Jonas Valanciunas is set at 2.5 assists for tonight.
Okay.
And he's had 6, 6, and 7 in each of the last 3 games. Sabonis is obviously going to be out. I think it's so fascinating that they're integrating him as a point center when he's never played that in his career. So I would just take the over on Jonas Valanciunas assists. Again, super nerdy, super in the weeds, but I feel like there's a very fascinating trend going on here as they work him into the offense that was already established.
I like it. I love the low numbers because you don't need much. So Kyle and I are just we're taking a couple low numbers here, not going for the high volume. So hopefully we help you cook and you can send your kids to college. All right, Kyle, it's time to let the dogs out.
Let the dogs out. Who let the dogs out?
This is a tough one, Kyle, I gotta say, especially with last night, because a lot of people were doing a lot of things. I'm gonna go super random here, just from a number standpoint. I'm gonna go with Trey Lyles because he played 11 minutes.
Trey Lyles movement.
I'm going with Trey Lyles just due to all the other guys playing heavy minutes. This is a game where you could forget about Trey a little bit, so I'm going with Trey Lyles for my dog.
I believe in you. And you know what? I'm going to kind of go in the same route here tonight just because we've done this whole show about DeRozan and his minutes and Keegan and the performance and everything. But we kind of missed out on one person who we slandered last week. Absolutely slandered. And you know what he did over the weekend? 8 points, 3 for 4, 12 minutes played. You know what? The Rook tonight, we're going to need you at Devin Carter.
God blessing me with his body.
We slandered him, and we're like, does he even play for this basketball team anymore? He came back from the G League. He's been cooking. So he's taken the backup point guard role from Markelle Fultz, which, thank God, at this point, they finally are prioritizing their rookies' development instead of just playing Markelle Fultz meaningless minutes. So I believe in you. Whether it's 12 minutes, whether it's 15 minutes, whatever you got, give me the Rook tonight. Devin Carter is going to do something good.
There you
God
go.
Blessing me with his body.
And like we said, the line hasn't moved yet. You know, Vegas knows this stuff pretty early. Kings still underdogs by 2. I love the Kings. Hate the Kings when they were the favorite, but I do love the Kings when they are the underdog. They are the underdog by 2. A dog at home. Give me that all day. And they're going to take care of business. And we have just taken care of business for the last 4 hours. Thank you for listening to the Allen Stiles Show. Great job to Kyle, as always. Drive Guys up next. Wiley Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. And until tomorrow, secure the bag. Thank you to all the callers, texters, sack chatters, of course. But until tomorrow, secure the bag like the bean.